Hello. Hello. Hello everyone, this is Ghostface here to tell you I'm the best killer of all time and Michael Myers sucks, what a loser.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, I know you're probably looking for Shape in the Shadows, but I can't find him. He's somewhere in the shadows. So instead of Shape tonight, now Shape's going to be here in a little bit, but I'm your hostess, I guess your co-hostess with the mostest, Hellmaster Helvington. How the hell are you? And we are here tonight to talk about who is it? Who is the better slasher? You have Ghostface from the Scream franchise or Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise. Now, in my opinion, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but I will tell you that we're going to get down to. We're going to break it down D-Generation X style for you wrestling fans out there, and we're going to get down and dirty and figure out who is the better killer. But first, I'm not doing this alone, ladies and gentlemen. We have a panel tonight, and I got to introduce them. It was my job to introduce the panel tonight, so I will do as I'm instructed because you don't want to see Shape angry. I promise you, you do not want to see Shape in the Shadows angry. So first up, joining us on the panel, we have Donnie. What's going on, Donnie? How the hell are you today? Donnie, hello.
Well, what's happening, brother? Good to meet you.
What's going on, man? My main man, Donatello. I love you, Donnie. He's such a big horror fan. He is all over the horror community, and he is here tonight in the shadows to tell us who's better, Ghostface or Michael Myers. Donnie, are you ready? Are you ready, Donatello?
Yes, we gonna break it down like you said.
Generation X style. That's the only way to do it. All right, next up. All right, we have another guest on the panel. Now, you guys know this man. You love this man. Hell, I love this man. He's one of my hellhounds, ladies and gentlemen. Hellcats and Hounds, Shape in the Shadows, the shadow children of the world. But first, we got to introduce him, my main man, child of the corn, $1 million man, Anthony Mack. How the hell are you?
What's up, dude? Appreciate you having me. Sorry for being so fucking late. I was all like, I didn't know what was going on, but no, yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Happy to be joining the Hitman Donnie.
Hitman.
The Hitman Harden. No, yeah. I mean, it's probably one of the classic debates, who's better. Probably honestly like an impossible question, but a great question at that, though. Yeah.
And it's going to be answered tonight here in the Shape in the Shadows YouTube channel. So I'm for one. Look, I don't know what to do. I love both of them, but we're going to get into that. But first, we got to get the next guest in here. It's a panel, right? It's a party here tonight in the shadows, right? I stepped out of the hell zone, and I have my man Donatello on here. I have my man Child of the Corn on here. And next up, we have to have. Hold on, I think Shape was texting me. Hold on. You can't do that to me, man. You can't give me instructions when I'm in the middle of my thing, man. Come on, man. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to bring the one, the only, the leader of the people in the shadows. I'm sorry if I butchered. Shape in the fucking shadows. Get your ass out here. I'm tired of waiting on you, brother. Wait, where's he at? I don't see him. Oh, Shape, you there, brother? It's not. Look. Oh, shit. It's the motherfucking Shape in the motherfucking shadows. Look, I knew he was up to something. I'm glad to see him here. What's going on, Shape? Wait, that's not Shape. That's the actual Shape. Okay, he got some message for us. Ghostface sucks big time. He needs to kill or wait, let me get that last part. Help me out here. Somebody.
To kill or
Needs to kill, or does it say more?
Or more. Yeah. I need to kill.
He needs to kill more or more. I only need myself. Oh, he needs 2 killers or more, and he only needs himself. But look, Mike, you gotta work. Look, I know you haven't been out of Haddonfield Sanitarium long. I need you to stop by your English teacher's class, and I need you to work on your handwriting a little bit. But no, if that's how you're feeling, Shake, I'm so sorry. My bad, Shake. My bad, Michael. My bad, Mikey. I'm sorry. Look, don't take your frustrations out on me. Take it out on your sister. Wait, she's not your sister no more. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. But yes, we're going to figure it out. I, for one, yeah, he might need 2 killers, but at least his franchise is consistent. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying. Don't shoot the messenger here, brother. Don't shoot the look. Don't look at me like that, Michael. Don't look at me like that, Mikey. Don't. No. Okay.
Helvington was found murdered after the stream ended.
But we're here, guys. We're here. We're going to figure out what Michael. He's trying to decide if he wants to go back in the shadows or not. He's all right. Well, not the quick light. This isn't Halloween 6, man. Get out of here. So we can't have the strobe lights in here.
Yeah, no, really, the strobe light.
Oh, we have the red light now. Okay, so this is what Halloween Kills. This is what we're doing. We're just doing different lights of Michael. Look, we need a ghost face. Where's go? Oh, I like that light. That's a nice light. He's gone. All right, guys. Shaping the Shadows is on the way. Michael is hacked the stream to say that Ghostface sucks. He needs 2 or more killers, and Michael only needs himself. Well, we'll talk about it. Oh, there he is.
Hey guys.
There's the shape, man. Look, you gotta. I know you and Michael are close, but you gotta let him know, man. I don't want no beef. All that was just for entertainment. You know, I love his handwriting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, come on, man. We all know it's hard for him to write very well. I mean, because he's too busy killing. You know, I mean, he never went to school. You know what I mean? You know, time and handwriting skills or anything like that.
That's fair. I'll give him that. I'll give you that, Mikey. Look, Michael's my first love. But I'm glad I'm here for this debate because, man, I got some things to say about old Mikey Myers from across the street. You know.
Well, before we do that, he just got reconnected back in. We also have Mr. Aaron in the chat. I mean, Aaron in the live in the chat.
Hey, yeah, having some technical issues. Maybe one of the ghost faces come and figure that out since they're so tech savvy. But until then, seems like all good.
Did the ghost face measures come through pretty good? You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came through pretty good. All right, because he just messaged me and said, "Hey man, before I gut you like a fish, I need to make sure my bill came up pretty good." I was like, "All right, yeah, it came up pretty good, I think." All right. Everyone's all quiet. It's like
a bit of a delay.
Talk or what's going on?
I think I should.
But before we go and do that, let's go and get in the chats first. We got Joanne in the chat.
Yo, Joanne, covering the screens. What the fuck's happening?
What's
the
up?
hell? The Hellcats and Hellhounds are in here. What's going on, Joanne? Hope you're having a great night.
Also got Mayan in the chat.
Gotta love May. You gotta love May. My Cinderella right there. I love her.
Of course, you got Mrs. Shape.
What's up, Miss
Gotta
Shape?
love the shape. Gotta love the shape. Mrs. Shape.
We got Pops That Mops. He's no, and also to congratulations to Pops That Mops. Everybody doesn't know who Pops That Mop is. He actually is my boss at work, and actually he's kind of no longer my boss anymore. He actually got promoted up, so he's pretty much gone now. So.
Right on.
Congratulations on promotion, but we're
no doubt, dude. Blessings.
And all righty, and then we got Child of Corn in the message.
Congratulations.
All righty, guys. So when this live here is going to be like Michael Myers versus Ghostface, it's going to be more. I mean, in a way, not too much of like if they can go toe to toe together. I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, if Ghostface went toe to toe with Michael, I think you pretty much know how that outcome would be. No matter if there's 1, 2, 3, 4 killers, I believe Michael probably take on all 4. I mean, we already see what he did with the mob, so I don't think Angel's Ghostface is going to stand a chance against Michael. That's just my opinion. You guys may have different opinions, but that's just mine. So we're going to kind of go for like, who had the best kills, which has the best movies / franchise, and kind of so on and so forth.
Okay. For one, I do agree with you on that first statement of Michael. I think when it comes to all the slashers, most of the slashers that we know to date, we're talking about the big ones: Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, all them. Michael probably sits at the top with Jason, as far as being able to take on multiple bodies at one time. So I got to agree with you on that one, Shape. That's a great point, because at the end of the day, you're right. Ghostface is just a man or a woman behind a mask, and with Michael, you're dealing with evil, pure evil in human form. So I agree with that.
So first we're going to go do the kills and stuff, like who had the better kills. And we can do from, movies or that. We can do, if we wanted to, again, there's like what, 13, well, in a way, like 12 Halloween films, and there's only what, 6, possibly going to be 7 Scream films. Yeah. So we kind of card do, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2. So it could be, so if we're going to do this, it'd be like any kills out of all the movies, like which one had the best kills out of overall. So first, go ahead, Delvington. Go ahead, you go first.
So when we're stacking up kills against, Michael versus Ghostface, I love Ghostface kills. He has some iconic ones. I think my favorite movies of kills that he has, to me personally, and this is going to be a real shocking one, but Scream 4, in my opinion, had some really good kills. Now, it wasn't as good as, as violent as Scream 6 or Scream 5, right? But in my opinion, the Ghostface, if I had to show somebody a death scene, it's going to be Olivia's scene from Scream 4, where Ghostface literally guts her like a fish. But it doesn't compare to Michael, and my favorite kill from Michael from the franchise. And I'm going to have to steal it from one of my favorite movies, which is Halloween 6. But when he goes just crazy mob psycho on all of the surgeons in Halloween 6, that to me was just brutal. So I'm going to have to give an edge to Michael on the kills, but don't get me wrong. Ghostface does have some really cool kills, but it's nothing compared to Michael.
All right, so Helvington, so Michael's 1, Ghostface 0. So go ahead, Donnie, you're next.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think I like the kills in Scream more than the ones in Halloween. Not the ones in Halloween are bad, but some of them are they just seem a little bit more up close and personal. It's like, you took the time to think this out. And then other times, other times it's just come up, stab somebody, and then they out. But Mike seems to have more of a, like, sometimes it's a little drawn out. Like I'm definitely, like when he was testing the knives out on dude in, what was that, Halloween Kills?
Yeah.
Like a little drawn out, you know what I mean? But that said, he's definitely the better killer. He's definitely more stealth. He's like a fucking Navy SEAL, the way that he pull up on people. So, so I'm gonna go with that. And Anthony, stop trolling my friend. I saw that. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Ninja Michael as my pick.
All right, so 2 for Michael, 0 for Ghostface. Man. All right, Aaron, you're next.
All right. My favorite kill, I guess you could say, like, technically wasn't even Michael, but it was the chain link fence kill where he just blow torches someone like in the mouth. Ooh. That was the wildest kill that I had seen. And like the craziest thing that, like, we saw Ghostface do was with the sawed off shotgun, I think in that little store. I thought that was the craziest part, but I definitely think that, like, planning wise, Ghostface, like, they have to make sure the puzzle kind of fits, but Michael, he picks up anything and he can destroy you with it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he just gonna run up, like.
Mhm.
That's a great
He'll
point.
walk and he'll still get to you.
And that's a great point with the puzzle piece. Like, in order for Ghostface to get his victim where he needs to be, he has to, pull the string.
He got to lure you there.
Exactly. He has to
Right.
make it right.
Right.
Michael, I mean, it's once you're in his way, it's over for you. If you're in his way.
And he's hiding in your house, but you're in his way. What?
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with that 100%. With Ghostface, it's more of a puzzle. With Michael, it's what did they say in Halloween? Was it Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends? He was saying he just wanted to go home, right? Right. So if you're in Michael's way, and whatever his objective is, if it's to get Lori, if it's to go home, whatever it is, you can count yourself dead. With Ghostface, like Aaron said, if you can avoid it, then you can avoid Ghostface.
Yeah.
You really are just fodder when it comes to wrong place, wrong time. You're gonna be out of there.
But the thing with Ghostface is like the difference between Michael Myers, because with Ghostface, he already knows who he's going after. He's targeting people he's going after, right?
Yeah.
Michael, on the other hand, I mean, we believe that, of course, with the franchise, he's going after his sister, and anybody who got in his way, he was killing, But once we get the new timeline, new trilogy, all like that, he was more like just picking people at random, just killing people at random. Right. Anybody who got in his way on the way home, he was just killing. But I mean, even in Halloween 78, in a way, he was kind of like, the Ghostface thing. He was kind of picking and choosing who he was killing or who he was stalking. He went after, Anne, and then, of course, it was with Lori and everything else. So he's kind of picking and choosing which way he's going, in a way, just to get to Lori, in a way. So we had to take out the friends first before he got to Lori.
Yeah.
So in a way, it was that similar. But of course, when it came with the whole timeline of Ghostface, it was always he picked the people he wanted to kill. It was already planned out, ready to go. With Michael, it kind of went, kind of everywhere in a way.
Yeah. And to your point with Ghostface, let's say, going back to the puzzle, Ghostface would actually have to, if he wanted to kill, like, let's say Ghostface ran into somebody before it was their time to go, right? Because maybe they're part of another piece of the puzzle to lure another character here. Then Ghostface would have to back out, which he's done before, right? We've seen Ghostface, fake kill or, just even scare a character in the franchise. You're not getting that luck with Michael. If you are in his franchise and you stumble upon Michael, chances are you're dead. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's going to let you live.
And you're not named Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah.
All right. So let me see here. So
yeah, Ghostface has gotten like hit with a. Oh, sorry. Like Ghostface gets hit with like a pot and like thrown down some stairs, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta recuperate. I'll get him next time."
Yeah. And you don't see Michael doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in any fight scenario, I mean, and like Donnie said, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ghostface, he has some cool kills, but it's the king. It's the king, baby.
All right. So right now, so since Aaron kind of put another killer in here, so now it's Michael Myers 2, Ghostface 0, and Corey 1. All right. Well,
classic.
Well, the next person in line is going to be Mr. Child of the Corn. Now I know he's going to be backing up.
Oh, I just can't believe all the blasphemy that's being spoken.
Boom! No, I'm kidding.
It's just so blasphemy. No, great question. I mean,
no Sharon Stone,
right? No Sharon Stone. I mean, when you narrow it down to the topic of kills, each franchise has, all these iconic, memorable kills. I'm just going to be honest. To me, I think the Casey Becker kill is like the cream of the, creme de la creme or whatever you want to call it of like just horror kills in general. Like, just like you guys were saying, Ghostface is very diabolical in like his planning on how he's going to, mindfully kind of fuck with you pretty much. Yeah. But then also kind of put you in a scenario. Like, to me, it's a little more like, it's almost like mindfully torturing his like victims. To be honest, I know not in like every single one, but especially in the Casey Becker one, like I do like that Michael is very much a ninja. I guess you would say, like in the first two films, especially, you know, he kind of plans out like a little bit on like how he's going to take out, you know, his victims. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I just Casey Becker, I think is probably. I mean, this is just the one that I'm picking, like the top notch Casey Becker kill. I think it's like, you know, the god tier of like the kills, all the franchises. I liked Helvington's pick though. You know, Olivia's kill in 4 compared to the, I guess you would say the medical room or the medical examining room in 6. Really good kill. You know, the fucking strobe light and shit. It's got you like you know, you're, I don't know, on some drugs or something. No, but like I always remember that.
Thing, you know?
I always remember that scene when I was a little kid, always watching that movie. Like it was always like, you know, they were like, oh shit, he's coming down the hallway, and then he just, you know, picks up the big ass knife off the, you know, tray there sitting out in the hallway. But to me, Olivia's kill, I've actually grown to like Scream 4 a lot more, to be honest. Actually, much more than 4 or 5 and 6. Sorry, I think it's more. I guess you would say it's just comparable more to the original films that Wes did and shit. And I just really like that kill. Do I like that Charlie's the killer? No, not really. I think he's kind of a little bitch, you know, or like what? No, I shouldn't say that, but it's just like to me, it's like at the beginning of that movie, you see him stand up next to Kirby, and he's not much taller than Kirby. And I get it, like it's not that big a deal, but I'm just saying, like, he's just not a very big dude. But man, he's, you know, he kicks her and like kind of throwing her around. Like that part's like, it's actually really good. Now, do they go a little overkill on like the blood splatter all over in the room? Yeah, a little bit. But, you know, I don't know. It's both kill scenes are very comparable. So I like that comparison. But to me, if I had to pick like my top of the whole, you know, Ghostface franchise, it would probably be Casey Becker's. The Halloween franchise, what would be like the creme de la creme? Probably kills in like the firefighter scene. I'm just saying what I think a lot of people would say, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say?
Ugh. Okay. I would probably go more old school. I would probably say like okay, hold on. I feel like I'm forgetting 18 though. I would probably say the hot tub part in 2, to be honest. I like that kill. Yeah, I know you get to see the nurse who's like just crazy hot and stuff, but to me, like that kill is just awesome. I remember watching that kill a lot when I was a little kid. I don't know. I just think it's good practicals, good makeup too. When, you know, you see her face all effed up and stuff. But to me, that would probably be. I'm probably forgetting one, but it would probably be that one for me.
Like you said, there's so many iconic ones. There's not a wrong answer.
Yeah.
You know, like,
or I mean, I really like the one in Kills, how he has them all in the H3 mask. You don't really see how he, like, you know, he's got them all strung up and stuff. And I know that's like, you know, he killed them in the car and then he kind of brought them all down and kind of strung them up all together and shit. Like, that's pretty cool. But I don't know. To me, Casey Becker's kill is just like, it's like, it doesn't matter what franchise it is. That's like one of the best kills in horror history. To me, it just, I don't know. But
I agree 100%. And to add on to Casey Becker, I mean, I create content on Instagram and I post these you know, movie scenes, these iconic scenes, and Casey Becker's full death scene, right, with dialogue and everything, it's like 7 minutes, right? It's like a 5-minute dialogue with, you know, Ghostface, and then it goes in about 2 or 3 minutes of her going through a chase scene. So for you to be able to sit on the edge of your seat for 7 minutes in a horror movie, anticipating when the character's going to die. I mean, you can't do that. I don't feel like there's ever been a kill in any.
It could have been a short film in its own right.
That's what I'm saying,
dude. Great way of putting it. Yeah.
The whole opening thing, and I don't think anyone but Wes Craven or John Carpenter, he's done it with. I think the closest he's done it to me was 78. And that was the chase scene between Laurie and Michael at the end of 78, right? That's the most iconic. If I had to say the most iconic chase scenes in horror history, it's those two right there. Laurie Strode and Michael Myers in 78, and then Casey Becker and Ghostface in Scream 1996. I mean, nothing's beating that. I doubt about that.
Okay, so super right, dude. Like I'm telling you, it's so iconic. That first, the first scene, in Scream or whatever. It's like it's super iconic. All the lines, all like just the writing, the direct, like everything about it is just super iconic. If you had to pick like one scene in Halloween that's like the most iconic, like what do you guys think it is? I know you just said the chase scene, but like, do you think the chase scene in general is the most iconic, or do you think like, a lot of people might say maybe the POV shot under the mask to start the movie, because they say that was all shot in like one shot, like that could be maybe the most iconic. Or you could say maybe the scene where he gets up and then he attacks her and then she takes off the mask and then Loomis shoots him 6 times, and then
he did the Harlem Shake off the balcony.
Like which scene do you guys think is like the most memorable from the first 78?
I'm going when his face materializes out of the darkness behind her.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
But I remember. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you guys had Boogeyman, that if you guys know what I'm talking about, Boogeyman, that was always the part that was in that movie or whatever. It was that part where, the friend drops. Well, the Judith Myers, cemetery.
The tombstone.
Yep, tombstone is on the bed, and then she's all like backing out of the room and everything. But that was like the scene, yeah.
And two, like with building the suspense, how y'all are talking about the opening kill on screen, it's kind of the same thing where she's sitting on the floor by the couch and she grabs the knitting needle and you can see that the sliding door is open, so he's in here, but we didn't see him come in, we didn't hear nothing, but we know he's in here. Where is he gonna pop out? And he stabs, like the cushion, he misses, but just the fact that he just kind of out of nowhere. And what I was going to say about the Casey Becker thing is, she's running. You think she's going to lap his ass, and then it goes into that kind of like slow motion when he catches her, and he's kind of turning, and he's like, oh, that's an amazing shot.
It's almost like Wes was paying homage to John in that, and with Casey Becker's death, right? With the ending of 78. It's like Wes looked at the ending of 78 and was like, I want that to be my opening. And so to me, the opening to 96 is 78 on steroids, right? Like you have a full-out chasing. Imagine Laurie Strode having a full-out chasing with Michael, which she did, but it was kind of slowed down for the pace, for the sake of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So for 96, Wes was like, I want my movie to be more fast-paced than John, but it's too good not to take. And Wes took it, and he took it. And I mean, it's the greatest opening to a horror piece. It's the greatest opening to any horror piece ever.
That moment when she's starting to get scared and she's going around and locking all the doors and stuff, and then there's that moment where he just pops up like outside the window and she sees him.
That's just like Laurie turn around and seeing Michael in the shadows. It's just like that.
So after everything, Mr. Shape's going nice. So good night, Mr. Shape.
Not Mr. Shape.
So with Anthony Corn, so pretty much he got Ghostface. So Ghostface got 1 now, and then Michael Myers has, in a way, 3 now. So we get to me.
Corey doesn't count.
Well, still counts. So we get to me, and everybody knows me. So for me, I think overall, like out of every kill in the Halloween franchise, and even in Scream, in my opinion, nothing can beat Michael Myers' very first kill, which would be in 63, where he killed his sister Judith.
Yeah.
Because when we see the shot, right, where we're putting the mask on, we're just like, we're the killer, right? We don't know who it is. And it goes upstairs and then starts killing the sister. It's like Michael, and then she's killing her. And then when he walks downstairs, we're still, in that POV shot, and we're walking down. And then they say Michael, and they open his mask off, take his mask off. You see the 6-year-old boy right there. To me, that is so iconic because, again, I don't think no one has ever seen like a little kid, killing somebody, and then actually end up being the main killer in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. But I think, to me, that kind of beats majority of any kill from the Halloween franchise and, of course, the Scream franchise. That's in my opinion, though. I mean, there's a lot more better kills and everything else. But for me, that one's always going to be the best because it's always the most iconic for me. Because when I first seen that, I was like, I'm thinking it's, a grown man, doing his killing spree. And then he turns out to be a little 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
true.
basically
Mind of John
Macaulay
Carpenter.
Culkin and the Good Son. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
film.
the mind of John Carpenter. It's. I love that he pushed the boundaries. Right, 78. That's why, like, it's my nothing will beat 78 for me. I don't care about David Gordon Green's. You know, I enjoy his trilogy, but I love cinema. I love film, and I respect David Gordon Green. I know who David Gordon Green is. He's a great director. He's a great writer. He's more so of a comedian in my eyes rather than a horror person. So when people tell me, yeah, Halloween 2018 is my favorite, I'm like, did you not watch 78? Because if you watch 78, then that those words should not be coming out of your mouth. Not like if you're and I'm not, this is no disrespect to any Halloween fans out there, but if you're not saying 78, I can't talk to you. I just can't. You know.
Shape, I gotta leave, dude. No, I was just playing. No, I mean, no, I totally get it. I honestly, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I like 2018 just a little bit more, just because
It was modernized.
it was modernized, and I get that. I remember going and seeing it in theaters, and I was just like, oh man, like this is such a home run. Like, you know, it's pretty ballsy to be like, I'm gonna try to do a remake. Technically, it wasn't a remake, obviously a sequel, but more so, it did resemble the first, you know, a little bit, but not. I just like it because, you know, Lori's, you know, strapped up, and she's like, you know, I don't know. To me, I thought that was such a cool, like, little twist that she was like, you know, kind of like this, like, I don't know,
She was like Sarah
headhunter, and
Connor.
kind of like waiting for this dude to like come back. Like, to me, that was such a cool aspect of that film. And I don't think it was too over the top. I thought it was like very well written out and everything. And I don't know. Like, it just there was some, you know, 78 is such a classic though. It honestly is. Like, what they, you know, how they did, you know, the budget was so small, and then it was such, you know, a bombshell, you know, in the theaters and stuff. And it is so iconic because it does seem like such a simple film, but just so well shot and just so well done.
And personally, that's what does it for me. Like, in hindsight, right? I love hindsight is the greatest thing that you can have, right? In certain situations. But if you remove it, right, and you get to really see what's there, right? So let's look at Halloween 2018. In Halloween 2018, I mean, you already had well-established characters in a Laurie Strode. You already had a well-established character in a Michael Myers, right? Who at this time had 40 years plus of cinema, right? 78 was created out of nothing. It's almost like the Big Bang, right? It was the first of its kind. And Shape even added to it a while ago. And it started with a young boy killing, something we've never seen. And if you look at 2018, in my opinion, it's a great film. Cinematography, James Jude Courtney knocked it out the park. Like, it is a AAA blockbuster film. But
so you like Castle better than James Jude?
I'm not. I can't say I like Castle more than James Jude. I feel like James Jude brings more to the character. But you said a while ago, Child of Corn, what they did on that budget for what has never been done at the time. I mean, there's no comparison to 2018. Even though 2018 may be an aesthetically more pleasing film, or a more rounded film and a more, you know, more pleasing to the eye. I mean, 78. I mean, it's up there. I would put 78 up there. Alfred Hitchcock type films, you know, Psycho, you know.
Valid.
Same thing with 96. 96 is going in the vault with just right there with Alfred Hitchcock. But I can't put 2018 in the vault. I just can't do it. I just can't.
But what I was gonna say though was I think that it depends on who you're talking to because of the sense of, you know, we weren't around to see the original. We understand it. We have respect for it. We understand how iconic it is and that kind of thing, but we didn't see it. So I think what happens is sometimes people are like, well, I didn't see the original. This one I saw in my lifetime, and they kind of, gear toward that a little bit more.
It brings them into it a little bit, I think.
Like it has like something more of a meaning, you know, to them because they feel like, oh, well, I saw this, you know, and you know, my family told me stories about like when Halloween came out, we ain't seen no shit like this, you know, and it seemed like like at that time it's like they were going, it was always like a young child, or that was the thing. It seemed like The Exorcist, Halloween, Jason was a kid when he died. Like it, I don't know if they thought that was just more shocking, and to go with that, but it had its iconic moment, and it has stood the test of time.
Yeah. So round 1 goes to Michael Myers. So now round 2. Now I just thought this one's gonna be kind of a little tricky. So it's going to be kills, but it's going to be like I guess the most like iconic and even like devastating to like some of us, like for fans, devastating kill of a main character.
Okay,
I got mine.
Of a main
This
character.
isn't even a contest. Like,
it's not a contest.
this isn't even a contest. It's Dewey all day and like tomorrow, man. Like we don't even kill the main characters off at Halloween because they all survive. Maybe, I mean, because I think Laurie's supernatural, possibly. No, I'm just playing.
Wait. She died in Resurrection. I mean, come on.
She did, and actually, I didn't mind that. I know it's not that it was her brother. Yeah, I get it. Like, they're kissing and stuff, little whatever. I have fun with Resurrection. I don't mind it and hate it as much as other people do. But if it was like a character, like you said, devastating, I'm just gonna make it easy. Like for me, it's Dewey. Like Dewey was like one of my favorite characters in Scream. He made Scream fun. He was like the most like empathetic person or character throughout the whole franchise. It was just, man, when that happened, I was just like, damn.
And as goofy as he may have come across, he always like he kind of knew what was up though. Scream 5, he called this shit right off the beginning. Even dude Richie was like, he called it in 1. Like, like he just had it.
Yep.
So
literally it was kind of
do we all agree that Dewey is the most saddest? Yeah. One. All right. Well, then before you go on, Sean Corn, round 2 goes to Ghostface. That's a big round.
So okay, what the hell was I gonna say? Do you never mind. We'll talk about it later. Never mind.
I will say, Child the Corn said something earlier that his appreciation is growing for Scream 4, and I really do appreciate that because I've been standing on the Scream 4 ship for the longest. It's the closest thing we've had to 96. And I was telling people that for the longest. They're like, well, I can't see it. I don't, Scream 5. I feel like Scream 5 is the closest thing we've had to 96. And in my opinion, I mean, if you look at Scream 4, you have Charlie and Jill, and they team up together. So it's almost like a mirror thing. And I'm just gonna throw this word out there. It's like a multi-gender kind of killer thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is very resemblance to. And if you look at the relationship between, help me out, Child of Corn. Emma's character and Charlie, right? Yeah. And you kind of see Charlie's friend. They kind of had a similar thing going on, right? There was that questionability between the two guy friends, and then we knew Charlie had a crush on, Emma Roberts' character. So it was very similar, right? And then Scream 5 comes along, and to mention Dewey's death, man, I mean, to me, Scream 5 and Dewey's death was a smack in the face of the franchise. It was a smack in the face to all the fans out there that said, you know what? Not only is your director gone, but your director's favorite character is now gone. And I know being in the horror community, it just doesn't sit right with horror fans. I've talked to horror fans all the time. Joanna, May, and like they just don't like Dewey's death. It was the stupidest death in any franchise, in my opinion.
Should have been Gale. It should have been Gale.
I mean, what throws salt into the wound is that Dewey dies in Scream 5 by the stupidest death ever. And then they turn right around in Scream 6.
Scream 6, yeah.
And then Gale survived hell when all the fans said it should have been Gale. So it's like, that's what I try to tell these people who are fans of these franchises. Do not be fooled. These franchises are doing nothing but taking your money and just killing your childhood. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm fine with characters dying. Totally fine with that. Can we handle it with some respect? Can we all? Do we
Yeah, is
all?
it justified kind of thing?
Yeah. Can we all agree
Like-
that Dewey's death was the stupidest death like almost ever?
And then the way they tried to like clean it up. Oh, it's an honor. No, nigga, we didn't want him to die. Like, what do you mean?
Well, okay, so I will say that his death was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It was heroic, but
yeah,
did
it
have
was
to
it was
happen?
heroic. Like it was kind of cool that like Ghostface was smart and like had like the throwback to Roman with the bulletproof vest and everything. That was pretty cool. Do I believe it was Amber?
Amber's
not a
not
fucking
killing
chance.
him, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there's no fucking way. To me, I think it was probably Stu, but I doubt they'll write it in like that, to be honest. Or
That's such a horrible missed opportunity as
Yeah.
well. I can't.
well, hey,
believe
you
it.
never know. I mean, 7 could be different, or But yeah, dude,
We'll see.
4 is so much like the original 3. That's why I like it. Dude, 6 has just went down. It's just went way down. And you know why 6 went down so much is because they didn't want to take any risks. Chad got stabbed like how many times in the chest in the fucking
Yeah, that was
midsection. He doesn't die.
ridiculous.
Gail
Like-
doesn't die. I mean, it was.
Me and
I'm
Aaron
pretty
were
sure
sitting in the
Donnie
theater.
counted in the theater, and he was
Yeah,
like,
I might have it
It
written
does
down
in
in those
time at
notes.
least.
Like it had to be more than that. I think I got it written down because when they were pushing him out on the gurney at the end, me and Aaron both was like, "How the fuck?" Like
"Yeah,
no
Dewey
way.
gets stabbed once in each movie, and he's having to get like hospitalized and go through physical therapy,
Yeah,
and that
I mean,
never
when
happens
it
to that
came-
dude."
When it came to Chad, man, there was no way. I mean, honestly, unless those Ghostface, man. If they are like puncture, like missing arteries, like they didn't know what they were doing, they're stabbing them willy nilly. They were missing arteries, and all these points, whatever. I can see him kind of living, staying alive. But I mean, honestly, come on. With all the many stabs he took, there's no way.
Yeah.
It's
He was coughing up blood.
Oh, I don't. Right, but I'm saying it's not like we haven't seen them do that before, and especially like even in other movies, like they out there coughing up blood like they Gangrel, and then they
Right.
I feel like stop it. But with that though, I feel like the way, like you said, it didn't need to happen.
No.
I understand they had the 2 knives and did like this really just like ripping apart his body, but the fact that he got his ass whooped in every movie before that and always somehow made it through, it seemed like now all of a sudden he's just out of there. Like
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
say
gonna lie,
this.
it'd be pretty dope if you like saw Dewey like learn some jujitsu or some shit and like break their arm. But no, can't have that.
I
that's
mean,
some Anthony shit.
I got a couple things to say. Like when it comes to Dewey's death, the way I respect, and this is just me as a horror fan, right? I'll start off by saying this. I love superhero movies. I love Marvel. I love DC. But we all know the golden age is past us, right? The golden age of Marvel and DC has died.
We weren't even born
Now,
when that was out.
don't get me wrong, they have some good ones, like Batman's good, but most 9 times out of 10, the film that they give us, it's not good. It's not what the fans are wanting, at least, right? They're not getting the casting they want. They're not getting the story that they want. I'm telling people it's happening to horror right now. There's a change in horror happening that we are it. We are Blockbuster. We are the one that everyone wants to grab. We're cash grab right now. Hollywood wants horror. Look at your top Netflix shows, right? So that's what's happening right now with horror. Now let's go to
Every movie trailer I see is a horror movie.
It's a
Like,
horror
straight
movie.
up.
And and then when you watch the horror movie, like if it's Insidious Chapter 5, if it's Halloween Ends or Scream 6, who walks
Talk
out
to
of
Me
the
just
theater?
got a sequel greenlit too.
You're right. And who walks out of the theater? I feel like I got the short end of the stick on all these films. I feel like in Halloween Ends, I was like, you know what? I'm not satisfied. Scream 6, I wasn't satisfied. Insidious, not satisfied. But yet they're already getting sequels. And that's not a good sign, because this is what's happening. All these big content creators are getting on their platforms and they're saying this movie's good, when in actuality, the movie's not that great. It's actually a slap in the face of the fans who built the franchise, right? And point and blank, Dewey's death. I understand it was supposed to make him seem heroic. I get that. But at the same time, there was no reason for him to go out there. You had already saved all the kids, all the teenagers. They were in there with you. Now, in my head, what would have made better sense was if Ghostface had a victim, and then Dewey said, "Let him go, take me." Then they let him
and
go.
then it was one of the killers or something like that. And
You see, that's something that a fan would think, right?
But
man,
Go ahead, Donnie.
that's no, I was just gonna say that's the problem because me and Aaron always talk about how garbage Warner Brothers is and how they just destroyed the whole DC thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's like like you said, it's like, well, the problem is you got like the older fans who we know specifically what we want, and then you got the newer fans who are like, oh well, they don't really care what they get, they just want to see the movie, and then they're talking about, oh, this is great, like, yay, this movie is fantastic, whatever it is. And it's like you said, we're getting like little like pieces of what it could be, but not that finished product. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want the brownie, it ain't done in the middle. Like, you tripping. And it that's kind of what happened to me personally. That's what happened with Endgame. We sat in that theater for 3 hours and 25 minutes. There was only 40 minutes of boxing. That's what I wanted to see, was the boxing. And
at the end of the day, the numbers say it's the best-selling franchise in history, or and that's the problem with cinema right now. That's the problem with cinema. We cannot keep paying to see these films and boasting these films when I'm like Child of the Corn. I don't want to seem like the old man on my soapbox here.
You're definitely the old man, definitely, for sure.
I respect it, right? But I keep telling people, the thing that they're missing with these movies is the director. You have to have a good director. If you just have any other director, you're going to have another Halloween film, a la Halloween Ends, a la Halloween Kills. But, you know what? And I want to ask, and then we can move on from this. I want to ask you guys this question, right? How the hell does David Gordon Green get a pass, but Rob Zombie doesn't? Rob Zombie got drugged through the fucking dirt for years. Years he got drugged through the dirt for what he did in Halloween. But we don't hear nothing about David Gordon Green with Halloween. We actually hear people defend the film. Go ahead, Child of the Corn.
I will say that Rob Zombie is a good director. Sometimes his vibe and shit is like, when he's got like people getting kind of raped and shit. It's like, that's that kind of shit's hard. That's just, but hey, it's see, like this, yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing, like with Scream, like that opening scene and shit like that. To me, I like Scream so much because it's very real. Like it's very fucking real. Like that shit could easily happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like that shit's like very real. So I respect Rob Zombie. I think he's he's such a, like, honestly, I was telling Days over this last weekend, and I actually like Halloween 2007. I like the first one. I think it's really good. I like Scout Taylor Compton. I thought she did really good. Danielle Harris, Brad Dourif. Like I thought they all did really good.
All-star cast.
The second one just kind of went a little bit off the tracks a little bit.
Off
the tracks. No, I got to talk about it. I have
a little bit.
With you guys. A little. Take the story aside. This is what I say about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's like Halloween 6. Take the story aside.
If it was a different slasher and it wasn't Michael, it's a different film, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not a bad film to look at. Like Danielle Harris is really good in the second one. I don't really like what they did with Scout Taylor Compton, but it kind of made sense. Like I get it.
But her character, though, I'm just talking about her. Like opening scene, ending scene.
She does really good with how they wrote her character. Jesus Christ, Mock. Anyway, dude, I'm gonna be honest though. I think David Gordon Green did a great fucking job, dude. Like, do I think that the writing in Ends is trash? Definitely, 100%. Do I think it looks like a good film? Yeah, definitely. Like the junkyard scene. Like to me, I think the film actually looks, cinematography wise, looks really good. Like the trilogy, I'm a huge fan of Kills. I think Kills is actually good. If you take out the whole Evil Dies Tonight, I think that film.
Evil Dies Tonight.
It's like the main plot.
Yeah, but Kills is a banger because if you think about it, if it was an 80s-esque slasher, that thing would be. It's like a new version of an 80s slasher. Like pretty much, it's just like a lot of like slash and gore and shit. And to me, honestly, I think it was 2018 was the perfect balance of like, we got these good kills and we got all this gore. Kills was a little more revved up, and then Ends was just like a love story that you just like weren't fucking expecting, where you're just like, I don't know where this is coming from. But and then they disrespect, the OG killer Michael, when it's like, to me, it's like I said it 1,000 times. Is he a man or is he a spirit? Is he like what the hell is he? Like, I feel like at the end they were like, no, he's just a man. But I felt like the whole movie they were talking about how he was more than that. He was like, yeah. I just felt like they didn't know but that wasn't David Gordon Green's fault. Like, I really don't feel like it was. I thought he did a good job directing it. But dude, I will say that Rob Zombie does get quite a bit of hate though. Like, honestly, he has some good films. They're just kind of like very like almost like Grindhouse a little bit, not like hardcore Grindhouse, but like they just their specific flavor of film.
So you're saying that The Monsters was a good movie?
Fuck yeah!
I actually watched like the first like 5 minutes.
All right, now you got your Hellmaster started.
Yeah, I watched like the first 5 minutes. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea.
You just said that Rob Zombie's got good movies. He's a good director.
Was
Monsters good or no?
It didn't mean that one.
No, I've never seen a bad Rob. Look, okay, even the Monsters, right? Because here's the thing, right? Everyone else, and this is why I don't understand that Rob Zombie gets treated differently, right? If David Gordon Green,
he'd be tripping, Helvington,
bro,
he'd be bugging,
dude. No, but listen. Understand where he comes from. Understand who Rob Zombie is, right?
True.
Understand he comes from White Zombie.
I listen to heavy metal. I stopped listening to him when I saw that Halloween bullshit.
But here's the thing: David Gordon Green gets a pass, right? If you know who David Gordon Green is, he got his start in comedy. That's where he got his start. He's like best friends with Danny McBride. That's actually how Danny McBride got onto the Halloween Project, because they've been working with each other for the past 20 years, right? So if you look at Halloween Kills, especially, right? Even look at the whole trilogy. There's a lot of funny moments.
Oh, dude, it's way campy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
18, not so much, but like, yeah, I feel like he has good balance. Like, there is some campy shit in it, and to me, it kind of like, because in the originals, like 4 and 5, there was kind of some campy shit, that kind of made it funny. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought it was a good balance.
With Rob Zombie comes from a gore background. He's known for House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. He put his own spin on to Halloween. And it's like everybody was ready to massacre the guy. But then David Gordon Green puts a fucking comedy love story into it, puts Michael in a sewer.
He puts Christine into Halloween.
But
gets him beat up.
But you guys have to know that he wasn't part of the writing for Ends. Not for Ends. Definitely not.
He was one of the writers. It was him.
I thought that's why he had very much. Go ahead. I swore to God, I thought I heard that he was very much not on the writing crew. I don't know.
He stated in an interview, when he had an interview, he even stated that he kind of wanted to have this kind of somewhat love story too, in a way. He wanted to have a love story.
Fucking idiot! No, I'm just.
He was actually one of the writers, all along with Damon McBride, and then I think 2 or 3 others that were writing for this movie. But David Green stated that he wanted like a little love story.
Wow, that is
for Halloween Ends.
And he got a whole pass for it. But let Rob Zombie. This is why even we'll talk about the Monsters another time. I'm not saying Rob Zombie. I am saying this. Rob Zombie, for what he has brought to the horror community, he has brought us Bill Moseley. He has brought us Tyler Mane. He brought back Danielle Harris. Something that the David Gordon Green had a chance
franchise,
to do. He had a chance to bring her back. Didn't do it. Rob Zombie did, and it's like he brought Brad Dourif. So I don't see, and I'll move on from that. But I just don't like how I look. I'm a David Gordon Green fan. I love David Gordon Green, but Rob Zombie does not deserve all the hate that he gets. And he worked with the Harvey Weinstein brothers.
Okay,
very true.
So this
which is why he deserves some of that hate.
This is my opinion about Rob Zombie. Okay, when it came to the first Halloween, the remake, right? I didn't mind it too much. The only thing I didn't care for was the backstory. And it was constantly his mom was a stripper and he had a crappy stepdad or whatever, and then sister didn't want to take also like that, right? Of course, the cussing and everything else. I didn't quite get that, because again, when it came to Michael Myers,
don't make me come over there, man.
but if you look at the original, it's like he's from a good home and just snapped one day and killed his sister. Right. This one here, you kind of already seen the tendencies of a serial killer. You saw the tendencies of a serial killer, like he was killing rats. Then he kind of moved on to to the bully, and then of course he went on to the whole family in a way. So that's my whole thing. But then of course, when you get into the lore and stuff of the original, it kind of even wasn't there. And then of course, even Dr. Loomis' character it didn't even feel like Dr. Loomis in a way.
Oh,
Because he's getting a gun. He's like, I need a gun. He's like, yeah, I'll take this one.
Oh,
that wasn't at all.
Yeah,
and then of course, I mean, granted, I did enjoy the first one. I mean, it has ups and downs just a little bit, but I still enjoyed it. When we get to Halloween 2, I mean, what was he thinking? You got the white horse. You had to bring his wife in somehow, some way. Bring his wife, and well, hell, we'll do the Jason story. Or bring her as a ghost, and have the white horse come in, and have the little story about a white horse. And it's like, okay, no. And then you brought that in, and then of course, Dr. Loomis' character, they took away off the goddamn rails. He is no longer Dr. Loomis. He's like, you give me a coffee. I don't care about you. I want to make money.
He's an author.
And that's random shit happening. So how is that different from like the love story thing?
True.
And that is true. And I also want to say, Shay, even with Dr. Loomis being the way he was, right? Do you know how people say they hate Paul Rudd's Tommy Doyle? They hate him, right? Me and you.
I enjoyed Tom.
But it's because why? It's because he killed the role he was written for. That's exactly what Dr. Loomis was. If you look at Dr. Loomis in his entirety, and from the John Carpenter Halloween franchise, he was going mad. He was mad, right? Look at how he started, because Rob Zombie only had 2 films. He started off in Rob Zombie's way, you know, as an author, etc., etc. By the second film, he was off the fucking rails, right?
Yeah, you can see that he would be the same type of guy that would hold up little Jamie and be like, "Oh, you want her? Freaking come get her."
Because look at Loomis. Loomis would do anything to Go ahead, Donnie.
No, I was gonna say I think part of it is you saw the deterioration over a longer period of time.
Exactly.
So when he got there, you were like, oh, he's insane, just like Michael is by this point.
It wasn't like the last season of Game of Thrones where people just snap.
And then you just immediate 180. And like what I was gonna say about the whole thing with David Gordon Green is just, me personally, I just felt like a trilogy was just too much. Not that I wouldn't like want more Michael Myers, nothing like that, but I just felt like a trilogy is too much, because I'm a person that hates filler, and that's what I got from Halloween Kills. And then everybody has this issue with ends, and like I said, the only thing with ends that I really went in on was the fact that he died, because I was sick of all the retconning and going back, and he didn't die. No, he did die, and he crushed somebody's like larynx and switched suit. How you even know the dude was the same size as you, bro? That's like me and Anthony like wearing the same suit. This motherfucker's 7 feet tall.
Michael Myers is pretty standard size, dude.
And shout out to what Child the Corn said a while ago. He said that, because I'm right there with you, Donnie. Halloween Kills, unacceptable. Unacceptable. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Child of the Corn did have a great point. If you look at Halloween Kills, it was, it was 80s, right?
It was an old school slasher, pretty much.
Old school slasher.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is 2019. 2020, when the film came out. That's not acceptable nowadays. Now, if this was 1979, 1980, and we had that pacing that we had in Halloween Kills, it would have been fine, because we did have that in Halloween 2. Because if you look at Halloween Kills and Halloween 2, it's damn near the same film. It takes place in the hospital. But here's the thing. This is 2020. I'm paying this. I have 2 more films left in the saga, and you wasted my time in Halloween Kills. Problem number 1. Problem number 2, you basically said, fuck the story from Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018. Here's a new story. So I agree.
Finish the breakfast.
There are things in 2018 that in the trilogy that I love. Like, fuck, I love David Gordon Green in the trilogy. But I just don't see the pass that Rob Zombie gets, and I just cannot compare it to 78. I just can't.
And also, I'm tired of them making a trilogy only for the new trilogy to just be a modern version of what we already saw. Like, Force Awakens is A New Hope. The Last Jedi is Empire Strikes Back.
Thank you.
The Rise of Skywalker is The Return of the Jedi. It's
whoa, Donnie, don't be talking shit about Rey, dude.
Oh no, Rey's gonna get it. That's what's happening, and this is what we have to stop it, guys. It's just like they couldn't live with their own failures, and where did that lead them? Back to us. No, like it did not make sense. Like what? Like, we saw Vader kill Palpatine, but nope, he's been alive for the last 30 years.
He's
just
cyborg,
chilling.
dude. It was a cyborg.
Okay, wait. Okay. We're gonna talk about Star Wars. Okay, there's actually a bunch of lore and stuff like that, and there's also like books and comics or anything about that situation
Yeah.
where
But if the movie isn't going to explain that,
actually transfer his consciousness
Yeah.
into a cloned body.
I
Yeah.
know that, but the movie didn't explain none of that though. So
gotta
somebody coming
explain
in
the
blind
movie.
wouldn't know.
Well, that's why you got
What
to
about
read.
the TV show. I don't like when they explain shit in like the Clone Wars or some shit, and then they don't explain shit in the movie. Like,
yeah, exactly.
it's been years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, I agree. But yeah, okay, that's my soapbox. But yes, Child of the Corn, you're 100% right. David Gordon Green's trilogy is a masterpiece in its own way. I agree.
Well, okay, and I wouldn't say the trilogy. I'm just saying, like, okay, to me, this is an easy answer though. Like, I think 2018 is the best is one of the best slashers, or considerably the best
give you that.
slasher of the last like 25 years.
I'll
Like
give
to
you
me,
that, 100%.
it's just a bombshell home run.
Yeah.
Like X, I loved X. I know a lot of people like I don't know, like I'm just asking in general, like what other slashers do you think could compete with like those two slashers? I know it's very much preference oriented, or like, you know what I mean? Like, people would be like,
You got to take preference out of it. I mean,
yeah, like, like I'm just saying, like, to me, that movie made a boatload of money, and I get it. It's because it's Halloween and the franchise is very, popular with, the fans and stuff. But I feel like the fans went in and saw that film, and they were like, they walked out of the theater saying, "Oh shit, that was fucking really good. That's kind of like what I wanted to see." That's what I don't think people were expecting to see what they saw, but they were like walking out of the theater being like, "Oh shit, that was awesome! Like I'm ready for something
I
else."
had that feeling.
Really, to be honest, I almost feel like they should have maybe just done the film and left it alone. Like Michael should have just died in the fire and called it good. I still like kills, and ends has good vibe and cinematography. Just the storyline is very what the fuck, but no, like I think this is a good question though. H3 against zombies. Fucking Halloween, that's a tough one. I would have probably said Zombies Halloween probably like a couple years ago, but man, H3 with Chalice, man, it's fucking pretty good.
H3 for me.
H3, yeah, I think H3 probably takes it by just because it's Carpenter. I know it's not Carpenter. It's Carpenter's score, and it's Tommy Lee Wallace. He's right behind Tommy Lee Wallace, pretty much. Yeah. To me, H3 is it has such a good synthesized score. It's just yeah.
All right, my turn. Rob Zombie. Okay, no comparison. No comparison.
H3 or Zombies Halloween? I'd probably go with. I would honestly go with Zombies just because it's still Michael Myers. It's not that one
I can dig it.
outlier.
Yeah,
but
okay. If there was one thing that you guys did not like about Zombies Halloween, what was it? Like if you just had like one like little nitpick at it.
Of the first or second one.
Storyline in 2, that was it. That was.
Yeah, I would say the storyline in 2.
The first one, just the first one.
Just the first one.
I'm with Shape with that backstory shit. Like,
yeah.
Okay,
like I said, I don't like filler. I want to see the boxing.
See, I kind of like that storyline at the beginning just because it seemed very real. Like, you know what I mean? It did seem very real. It wasn't what it was to the original, but I could dig what he was trying to do. He wasn't trying to sit there and copy the whole thing, but yet he was trying to put like.
But sometimes people don't need a reason to be a psycho, though, Anthony.
That is true.
But that's almost like more zombie style. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying.
Hold on, no, I got it. But Donnie, I'm on you because everybody has a story. True. All the icons have a backstory. So it's like
we saw Michael Myers kill his sister, and then that's it. We didn't see him as a child. No more.
Michael don't need a backstory. That's how good he is. He don't need no backstory.
No. That was
you don't need to drown in the lake and poor me, I'm drowning in the lake. We don't need some what is it? Some pedophile.
I mean, if that's the case, Stu didn't have a backstory really, and he was a crazy awesome killer.
You know what I mean? Just a rich person.
I mean, but most killers have a back. Like if you're going to sit at the top, you got a backstory.
But that's why Michael Myers stands out, because every serial killer or any slasher in history, they all got a backstory. Ghostface has a backstory.
Michael has one.
No, he doesn't really have a backstory. Well, no one knows why he kills. No one knows why he does what he does.
You know 78 like the back of your hand.
No one knows why he kills.
Something made him snap, whatever it was. Right now, me personally, this is what I believe that made Michael snap that night. Whatever rage he had against his sister, that's what it was. Because that's the first victim he went towards. He was dressed, so there was something between that family and Michael. Now, was it stated? No, it was never stated, right? But the fact that a little boy snapped and chose his sister first, he could have chose anybody in the neighborhood. He chose his sister, and then you go into the backstory of Lori and all the other stuff, right? But Michael does have a backstory, even if it is minimal. There's a backstory there.
Right, but that's the thing, though. It's like we're talking about with film. You kind of at the mercy to show that. Otherwise, people are just lost at what's happening unless they kind of know going in. And obviously, this wasn't like a comic book or nothing before that came out, where you could already kind of be familiarized with it. Right. So the fact that it just kind of just goes from here to here with no in between. You kind of
that's legendary. That's legendary.
But I'm saying you still kind of don't know, like, well, what the hell is wrong with him? Like, he didn't get no candy that night. Like, what's his problem?
Seriously, to me, I think
what was wrong was that his costume sucked.
Dude. The hell is that shit? I'd be pissed off too. No,
a dollar store costume.
His sister bought him that costume. He's like,
that's what it was. That's
bitch.
Costume.
No, to me, I feel like that's why so many people are drawn to Halloween, because you do with the original have that mystery of like, oh, is he possessed by evil, or is he just a young kid, lashing out because of just whatever, like, you know what I mean? And there's always that mystery, and then they step into like, really, you just don't get the answer. Like, that's what it is. Like, you just don't know. Like, even like I think
is true.
Yeah, and I think that's just like, even, oh man, dude, like that's what I'm saying. Even like with 2018 at the beginning, when he pulls out the mask and everything's getting amped up and the dog's barking and all that shit out, and it's like, to me, oh man, if they would have went to Silver Shamrock for ends, that would have been so dope. Like, I think it would have been sick. I think it would have been sick, man. Like, if they would have ended it with Silver Shamrock, I think it would have been fucking dope.
Like Child's Play 2, or what was it? When they were in the toy factory.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Like, to me, he even talked about,
that's another good fan idea.
Yes, exactly.
Like, nah.
But he said he didn't want to do it because he thought that somebody might actually want to do
H3 remake.
Like, to me, Jordan Peele, he could do H3. I know he could do H3. It would be right up his he could totally do that, dude. But I don't think he will, because he likes his original ideas and stuff, which I totally dig and stuff. But I think somewhere down the road, somebody's going to try to redo H3, which I think would be pretty dope. But I think that's why, again, a lot of people are drawn to Halloween franchise, because, again, like the backstory, you don't really have that much backstory with Michael. You don't really know what makes him tick and all that shit. And I think that's why people like the mystery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, here's a good one. Which character do you guys like better? Paul Rudd's Tommy Doyle, or Jamie Kennedy's Randy in Scream?
Jamie Kennedy.
What's up with these questions, man?
Well, it's probably Randy just by a little bit, just because he's in more films or installments. But Tommy Doyle, I actually did like Tommy Doyle's.
I like
performance in 6. Yeah,
it really is.
And I love Randy. Randy's great.
But that's the thing. Everybody's a suspect.
There's a very simple formula.
But how much of that was Wes and Kevin Williamson, right? Like, I mean, to me, Paul Rudd, he didn't have a legendary director. He didn't have a legendary writer. He just, at this point, he didn't even have to sign on to the project. I mean, this was his first project. He didn't have to do this. He said, you know what? I'm going to be in a Halloween movie. So he apparently knew about Halloween. He had to watch the movies. And me and Shape talk about this all the time. That is what Tommy Doyle will turn into. That is realistically what Tommy would be.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. I thought the eeriness and that movie's got some good fucking vibe to it. Like, it really honestly does. But yeah, I thought he really, honestly, his performance was pretty spot on how you figured Tommy Doyle would have grown up and everything in that town. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And with that being Paul Rudd's one of his first roles, I mean.
And Helvington, I'm back on you now, because you could have a great director and still have an ass performance. So, like, I mean,
okay.
Anthony No, I'm just playing. But honestly, that's probably just some bad writing. But I'm not saying he's I don't know. Like,
Wait, who are we talking about here?
Anthony Michael Hall, like his Tommy Doyle. Like everybody would say
That's
that.
a shit actor, in my opinion.
Okay,
Everyone
whoa.
Breakfast Club, good sir.
Real quick.
Breakfast Club,
Let's
No way,
dude.
throw it out.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna talk Matthew Michael Hall's character, Tommy Doyle right now.
This guy defended.
Okay, no. When it comes to Paul Rudd's Tommy Doyle, I can see it. I see it perfectly, 100%. On how he would become when he got older. On the the tragedy with Michael Myers, I'm seeing Michael Myers and everything else, right? Now, Anthony Michael Hall's Tommy Doyle, I could still see that too because he portrayed himself more like this tough guy. I mean, he went through that trauma of seeing Michael Myers, so in a way, he's like, I ain't gonna let that happen to me again. So, and of course, as a kid, when you grow up, you want to have built that, that tough guy mentality. So I kind of see that in a way too, where he's like, I'm this tough man, say night, Michael. Say night. You know what I mean? I can see that him being that way as well. Because you got two of the different aspects. You got the one,
once he could survive him again.
Yeah. So you have two aspects. So you got the Paul Rudd, Tommy Doyle. We can totally see that him being obsessed with Michael Myers. Is he going to come back? When's he going to come back? And following every single thing that he's doing in a way, being like the new Dr. Loomis in a way. Then you also got Anthony Michael Hall's Tommy, where he's like, I gotta be this tough bad guy because I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna get that scared again. And then what happened at the end of Kills, right? The fear in his eyes. He's like, but hey, at least he went out swinging.
That
don't mean
I guess if you want to reach that far, you can say he turned out to be a jock. But I didn't enjoy Anthony Michael Hall's performance. I definitely did not enjoy Kyle Richards' performance. Again, I'm right there with Donnie on that. Don't give me side characters. I'm here for main characters, not here for you guys. Again, how do they get a pass, but Corey Cunningham don't get a pass? Like, I don't get that. Like,
dude, Corey did a really good job. He did a really good job.
Yeah,
I love
performance.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I just want to watch it burn down. Hey baby, if you want me to burn it down, I'll burn it down. Don't worry. Just give me the word.
Anthony was in the audition.
I'm just like sitting in the theater like, this is not fucking happening.
I look for everything that Corey Cunningham got. I mean, what is his Rohan Campbell and the character. Again, I am a big believer on if you are hired to do a job and you nail that job.
Yeah, you need to ace the ass at the job.
He did a good job.
It's not his fault. That was totally David Gordon Green and Danny McBride's fault. And whoever else.
Jamie Lee Curtis's fault, man. That fucking movie ended because of her, man. She ended it the way that it ended. I know she did.
You think so?
Oh, I know so, dude.
Hey,
he's like, I'm not coming back for this shit and having me die. There ain't no way.
But hey, but honestly, I'm going back to Child of Corns. When I watched that scene, because she's sitting there too. I was sitting there. She's like just burned down. He's like, I like the match. He's looking over to the. Oh my god! But again, as with me and Donnie and Aaron talked about last week about the whole trilogy, it was all supposed to be done in one night, but thanks to COVID, everything kind of got pushed back. So then when they Kills, so they decided to. Say, hey, they kind of went back to the drawing board and rewrote ends.
So Shape, go whoop COVID's ass, and then we'll be done with it.
Well, no, here's the problem. It's not COVID. It's not stop ordering trilogies.
Thank you.
No. Seriously, I know the people wanted it, but literally, they should have just waited longer. They should have just came up with something really creative and just waited.
Like Scream. What Scream's doing? They should have did that. Had the first film come out. Let there be a 2 year time span.
Let there be a want for a sequel.
Well, to be honest, I feel like Scream's kind of almost doing the same thing. And the only reason they're doing the same thing is because they have Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega probably only for so long. So they gotta write it in quick. You know what I mean? Man.
But y'all know how spaghetti be better the next day. You know what I mean? Let it sit for a second before you just go. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were talking about doing David Gordon Green, old trilogy with this Exorcist thing. And I think
trilogy.
You don't need a trilogy. It's 50th anniversary. Let it stand. This is 50 years after. Here's what happened, and let it be. It does not need to be.
It'll be a trilogy, all right.
this is what happens, right? This is I don't take blame in this because I don't do this, right? I don't report on films that I don't think should be made, right? That's why I really don't report on The Exorcist and stuff like that. But if you're able to, like, imagine how much money David Gordon Green has already secured off the 2 Exorcist films that we have no idea if the first one's going to be good or not. We've seen a trailer and it's broke the internet. The trailer has just like Halloween Ends trailer broke the internet. Just like Halloween Kills trailer broke the internet. Just like, okay, that's the problem. We have to stop with letting these directors literally, we don't even know
trailers.
We don't know what these directors are capable of.
And they're picking apart nostalgia too, because they know that people love these old movies. Oh, well, we give them some new installment, they're gonna have to love this too, and that's not always the case, you know. Like,
go back to Scream 5. Go back to Scream 6. Do you guys remember the trailer when Scream 6 dropped? The Easter eggs. Everyone was going crazy over the Easter eggs. I myself was going crazy over the Easter eggs. I was like, dude, this film, there's Easter eggs, guys. They have this. They have the mask from '96. Look at Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills. Oh my God, Dr. Loomis is back. Oh, and it's like when you go see the finished product, you're like, okay, so we had like maybe 5 minutes of nostalgia, and the rest of the film was complete shit.
Wait, man. Hey, I still enjoy. I love Halloween Kills.
Hell
Halloween Ends. I'm still debating. I've been debating for about almost a year now. I'm still kind of debating. But
you said 10 out of 10, dude. You said 10 out of 10.
What? Kills? Yeah, Kills 10 out of 10.
How is Kills a 10 out of 10? The Kills? Because the Kills?
I enjoy Kills. I love Kills.
Honestly,
what was it about Kills?
Everything.
It was Michael's movie.
Okay, when it comes to Evil Dies Tonight, I really didn't care for that too much. But other than that, I enjoy the kills. I enjoy the kills and kills. I love the way Michael looked. I like how
that makes it a 10 though.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a 10. To me, it's like shit. What would I give it? I give it an 8, 9, or a low 9. Honestly,
I can't. You can, but it's like if you want to say you Michael, because I heard Child of Corn say it was Michael, right? Okay, here's my thing. If you take Evil Dies Tonight and the hospital scenes, how much screen time does Michael truly have? Does he have an hour's worth, or is it 25, 30 minutes?
But he's only in the original 10 minutes.
This ain't 78. 14 minutes. 2018, 2000. Like certain rules. There are certain rules, right? No, but seriously, I agree. Like, here's the thing: it's like you're getting sold half of what you're supposed to be getting. That's my problem with David Gordon.
Good shit. You buy a bag of Lay's and you open it, half it air.
But Kills had an awesome cameo back to the original. They had that Loomis lookalike dude that did a really good job.
How long did it last though?
That was a good start to the film, and then they brought back the original characters. I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
it was filler.
This is the thing. You had 3 movies. The first one, banger, and we all agree 2018 was a banger, right? And it's like after 2018, we understand what you're going with. Like, we understand the parallel to Halloween 2 that came out, John Carpenter's Halloween 2. We get it. But what David Gordon Green doesn't understand is this is 2022 to 2019. There are certain rules that you have to follow. You only have John Carpenter at the time. We didn't know if there was going to be a Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5. 6,
he had
7.
no idea what was going to get greenlit.
You have to remove
now it's just an assumption.
We knew there was a trilogy. We knew there were 3 movies. And here's the thing, Child of Corn, I was right there with you giving it an 8 out of 10. But after what he delivered in Halloween Ends, it made me hate Halloween Kills even more. Because it's like
because of what it could have been.
Exactly. I got gypped on the last 2 films in the franchise when you start off with a banger. And I trusted you after Halloween Kills to give me more. And I tell people, take the story out of Halloween Kills. Michael only has about 30 minutes screen time. The rest of that movie is Laurie, Anthony Michael Hall, and Kyle Richards.
Dude,
right?
He's a killer shark in overalls. They don't show Jaws a lot, dude. They
I'm
don't
saying
show him
is
a
like,
lot. They
but
don't
it-
show
it's
him a
At
lot.
least in the sequels, they do.
right, but that's the thing though. Like you're comparing like the different times, and they know
Yes.
that the killer, the main character, whatever it is, they have to be there present for most of the movie. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
see where, because you know how like The Exorcist, it ain't till you get to like the last 50 minutes where shit really starts to
Right.
like take off. You know, the
Mhm.
rest of it you kind of, it's stuff happening, but you kind of But then I'm talking about when it gets to the end where it really turns. And you were talking about like with the like they're giving us these movies and then they're putting them out and they're like, oh well, here's this director's cut, here's these extra scenes and all that and stuff. When you could
Actually, the
just
extended cut of Kills is way better too. I like the
but
extended cut of
that's
Kills.
my point.
Yeah.
But that's my
Yeah.
point though. Is that
We
right
don't
there?
want DLC.
You could have just made the movie the way it should have been. Instead, like they're giving like the same thing with video games, right? How they're giving you a broken video game. You got to pay all this money for the game. The game ain't finished. It's got
Yep.
all these patch updates that come out as soon as you buy the game. Then you got to spend $100 for DLC to get the extra
Mhm.
shit that they didn't put in initially. And like me and Aaron, when they released the the trailer at Comic-Con for Justice League in
Mhm.
2017, whatever it was, me and him was right here in this room going crazy. Like,
Mhm.
Aquaman, Wonder Woman, all these characters together. And then we got there and we saw what Joss Whedon did to that movie. And we was like, what the fuck happened? Then we saw the Snyder cut and we was like, this ain't even the same shit.
Not the
Like,
same. And you can't be doing, and I can't. And look, everyone creates content how they create content, but if you're selling a movie based off of director's cut, deleted scenes, oh, there's 2 hours worth of deleted scenes, so you're just selling me another movie.
Why?
You're selling you. First, I buy the movie ticket, and I was disappointed, and you're hyping me up, and then don't get me wrong, guys. I've seen Halloween Kills, some of the. It's good, but it's like there's no reason why I shouldn't have made the movie. They just they got you. They said, "Oh, here, buy this. Oh, we got more stuff. Buy this."
That's what they did with that's what happened with the Goblet of Fire, because like the director was just so incompetent. He took a lot of important shit out. Then they're like, "Oh, here are all the deleted scenes." And when you watch me, like, well, shit, this makes way more sense. With like, you could have left that in.
It's all business at this point. It's business.
Donnie, I love Goblet of Fire. It's my favorite one, dude.
I didn't say it was bad.
It's not bad.
And that's why it's the best, dude.
Because
what?
But it's like Child of Corn in the 90s, right? How you love the 90s so much because what we paid for is what we got. What we in the 80s and 90s, what we paid for is what we got. In the 2000s, it's like, yo,
I love the 2000s, dude. I was telling Daisy, okay, check this out.
Hey, wait, hang on. Wait. Go ahead, Donnie. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, my bad, Donnie. What's up?
No, I was just I had to light Anthony's ass up because you said that Cedric Diggory was the reason that Goblet of Fire. Okay, go ahead.
Are you joking?
Hey, dude. Hey, man. He took the biggest. He
took the biggest L from Lord Voldemort.
He saved Harry because he risked his life. Voldemort's life.
Yo, we've seen Voldemort kill. We've seen Voldemort kill thousands of people. Ain't nobody went flying like that motherfucker did.
All right, now we're talking.
He hated Cedric Diggory.
Devil. I mean, Harry would have got messed up, man.
No,
I really don't know, to be completely honest. I just thought that one was I just thought it was cool because they were doing not like a Hunger Games, but it was like, it was
Hunger Games.
It was like a games or you know what I mean? Like it was like each, I don't know.
Try was a tournament.
Yeah. But you like this formula of the 2000s, the formula.
Okay, so we watched the movie last night, and you guys are gonna wreck on this film. But Dace and I watched it, and I was like, honestly, I didn't have a big problem with it. Like, I don't know why I fucking hated on these 2000s remakes so much, because really I'm digging all of them. Really, to be honest, including Halloween 2007. Sorry.
Right.
We watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, 2010. I know you guys don't like it. To me, the CGI is a little bit out there, but honestly, I thought that movie was a banger. I thought it was sick. Like, I honestly was like, there are some really good elements in this fucking film. Am I still on?
Yeah, you're on.
Still see you.
Holy shit, my screen went black. I was like, well, I just lost it.
Now you feel my pain, huh?
So like, no, I loved all the originality of the 90s and shit. Like you got like oh man, dude, we were watching some banger films. David Fincher, if you guys, the guy
I've
that did,
heard that name before.
the guy that did Seven. Holy
Yes.
shit, dude. We watched Panic Room with Jodie Foster
Oh
and
yeah.
I
the
wanna
young
watch
girl
that.
from Twilight, Forrest
Kristen
Whitaker,
Stewart.
Jared Leto. We watched The Game with Michael Douglas. You guys
I
should
need
watch
to watch
that one.
that. I've
Yeah.
never seen
Really
it
good
before.
shit.
What was it?
The
What did you say?
Game. Yeah, The Game. Really good shit.
Highly
Dude,
recommend
the
Zodiac,
90s
too.
had such originality with like their ideas and shit. And I know the 2000s was like, yo, we're gonna remake a bunch of shit. Really, honestly, I thought they did a pretty good job. Like, honestly, like, I don't know. I think with the
No, yeah, I
conclusion
think
we're
it's
coming
like-
to is that 2018 should have been a standalone film, and the fans should have liked it or lumped it. Like, end of story. I honestly,
That's it.
or they should have ended kills at the end with the fucking all the people killing Michael or some
Have,
shit. I don't
have
know.
like an epic part 1 and part 2. It worked for Deathly Hollows, did it
Yeah,
not?
true.
There you go. Why we can't have that anymore? Why is it all? And it's a trilogy.
But-
and yet that's 1,000%.
But to that point though, Aaron, if you read the book, it didn't need to be 2 movies. Like you said, is like we want money.
Yeah, we got to make money, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yes.
Before we continue on anymore, now it's time for round 3. So Ghostface got round 2.
Boy,
We're all 3 hours this time. All right. So
I was gonna say, yeah.
So now round 3. You know what? I'm gonna say the last one. I'm gonna say the last. Round 4. Round 4 is gonna be the last one. So it's gonna be round 4. So round 3 now is gonna be on who had the best iconic look. For me, it's always gonna be Michael Myers. I mean, even through the whole Halloween franchise, I think again Halloween 78, Halloween 2 was the best look. Then of course you have I love the way he looked in H2O and Halloween 6 of the mask. I do like those ones. Then of course the new trilogy, I love the way it went through over time. You got the 18, loved 18's mask. Then you got Halloween Kills, loved the kills, and then of course I like the way it ends looked.
H2O.
Yes.
Stop it.
Hey, the main one the main one you actually see like really up close, that's the one I really enjoy. The rest of them I don't care for. So for me, it's going to be Michael Myers. I think for me, he's got the most iconic look.
For me, I can't. I mean, I'm going to choose one because I don't do halfway, but I will say they both, in their own right, have to be one of the most iconic looks in horror, and that's saying. And I'm saying even over, and this might be blasphemy, right?
Freddy and Jason. Wow.
Even over Fred, at least Jason. I won't go as far as Freddy because, and I know, I get it. I know because everyone's like, I know Jason. Look, Jason and Freddy had a chokehold of the 80s. I know this.
Definitely.
I mean, Freddy was all over the Pepsi commercials. Jason was on Arsenio Hall. Like they were 80s and 90s. But my thing is though, that Father Death mask from Scream, from Fun World, right? I mean, we all had as kids, right? We all had the Ghostface mask, and it's
the
like
one that the blood ran down.
the blood
Yep,
ran through.
I was gonna
and
say
it's
that
like,
was the exact one.
when you look at these films and you look at Ghostface and you look at the mask is, and again, this is why Wes Craven and John Carpenter are the greatest directors in horror history, next to Alfred Hitchcock and everyone else. But
And Vincent Price.
Wait, hold on. What, he direct? I didn't know he directed.
Yeah, was he a director?
He directed, he wrote, he did all this shit.
What a
Jesus.
savage.
Oh, he might be the GOAT. He's the GOAT. But for me, Wes Craven and John Carpenter, what they did with the looks of Ghostface and Michael Myers, it hasn't been replicated since. No one's been able to do it besides those two. I mean, you can throw in, Josh Cunningham, or what is his name? Josh Cunningham and the other guy that made Friday the 13th. You can throw in Toby Hooper with Leatherface, but Father Death and Michael Myers' mask, it stands the test of time. But with that being said, I do enjoy the variations throughout the franchise of Halloween. My personal favorite being H6. I know everyone gives the look of H6 crap because of the hair and how chubby Michael was, but in my opinion, as you can see right here, I don't know, it's probably dark in here. This is the H6 mask with the black spiky hair, the hollowed out eyes that make you look real sunken dark. I mean, you can't beat that. So for me personally, H6 Michael Myers has the best mask in the franchise, and against Ghostface, it's a good competition, but because of the variations, I'm gonna go Michael.
Interesting.
Go on, Donnie.
So, with the real quick, the Halloween 6 one, he needed to tuck his neck in a little bit.
Oh, okay. What is that? Okay, this is the horror community. I realized in the horror community, certain things get passes and other things get shitted on.
You didn't let me finish my statement before you lost it. So, like, you don't know what I was gonna say.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say the Halloween 5 mask is my absolute favorite. No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
And Donnie is leaving, guys. Y'all have a good night.
No, real shit. I'll see myself out, bro. Like,
I've never heard one horror fan say the H5 mask was their favorite. Like, I've never heard that.
No, I'm totally joking, bro. For me, I'm gonna go with the Ghostface mask because of the painting. It, to me, obviously it's a direct like copy of that, but the painting has had, you know, its place in like pop culture and stuff like that. And I think some people don't even realize that that's what it's from. The Edvard Munch painting of the Scream, that it really is like that brought to life. And when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me a lot more than the Michael Myers mask. So I'm gonna go with the white one. But I'm talking about variations, the way that it's all like cracked and chipped and stuff in 6, I do like that version of it the best.
All right, so just a little history lesson for you guys, right? This is it's really hard to see. Where's the camera? Oh, the camera's over here. Oh, it's hard to see. Hold on. All right, so I should put the light on there. So this is a Ghostface kind of figure, right? But what's cool about this figure is like a little puppet, right? What's cool about the figure is that it actually came out in 1993 when the movie didn't come out until, what was it, 1996, right? Yeah. So it's a really fucking rare, but on the back of the box, it has the story of Ghostface in the Ghostface mask, right? And what's really interesting that I never knew, right? I'm just going to read it off really fast. It says that the story of Ghostface, the face was originally designed in 1991 as part of a mask assortment for the Halloween manufacturer Fun World. The design was originally referred to as the Peanut-Eyed Ghost, which later became known as Ghostface mask. The influence for the actual design was the combination of Pink Floyd's album cover, The Wall, Max Fleischer's Betty Boop's cartoon Snow White, and Edvard Munch painting The Scream. Then in 1995, the face was made impression on the movie director Wes Craven, as he explained on the DVD voiceover narrative for Scream. So it just goes on to tell you, but the history behind Ghostface's
the thoughtfulness of it.
Yeah. Right. It's just like Donnie says, just like Michael has William Shatner, there's a whole history behind Ghostface's Fun World mask.
Yeah. And see, me personally, I'm just like a big fan of art, you know, Roscoe, Basquiat. Like, I'm just a fan of that world, period. So I kind of already knew like that mask, you know, never connected the two until I started getting into horror. But so does that mean that there was already like Ghostface things being made then, or they had Scream done then and just pocketed it until 96?
So it's kind of this is the greatness of Wes Craven, right? It's kind of like how he found the design of Freddy Krueger, right? The idea was already there, just like the Fun World mask was already there. It was already made. It was called Father Death, right? It was kind of like a Reaper. It was like a play on the Reaper, and Fun World had made it. Wes Craven walks into, they're looking, you know, he's looking for the idea of what Ghostface would look like, and he walks into a shop and he sees it's almost like I don't know the Halloween story, but Wes Craven walks into the shop and sees the Fun World mask and he says, "That's what I want right there." And then he alters the design a little bit, stretches the eyes out, and then you have the Ghostface mask. So it's really cool, and I love Wes Craven and how he designs. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just let me. As you were saying that, we were talking about how so the Halloween mask, they have these different variations of them as time has gone on. Do you think that maybe the reason with the Ghostface thing, the only thing you could do is kind of just make it look old, because it would look ridiculous if he had like a golden mask and was trying to kill you, or if it was red, white, and blue. Like we've seen those like just in stores, but in the movie that would look ridiculous. So that's why I think it just stays that plain white. You know,
and it's iconic. I mean, you've had, you know, people always say, you know, I want the metallic Ghostface, which we did have in Scream. What was that? Scream 5. We had a metallic Ghostface mask, but it's like Donnie said. I mean, why mess with something that doesn't need to be messed with, right? Yeah. Michael's mask, you know, the character the character stays the same, but he goes through changes in his life. With Ghostface, you never see the changes in it. It's always a different character. So and another thing, and this is another thing about Ghostface. A huge part of Ghostface is Sidney fucking Prescott, right? It's always been Sidney, and that's another reason why I think the look stayed the same, was because if there is going to be a ghost that haunts Sidney Prescott, she's going to she's going to remember it. It's going to be a look that she never forgets. Yeah. And if he wants to come back and to continue to torment her, he's going to have that same look. Not necessarily with Michael, because his victims, as we've seen,
don't make it.
they don't make it. It always changes every 3 or 4 movies.
And you would think that was ridiculous if Ghostface came after you with a purple mask. You might be like, "Nigga, what are you doing?" Like you know,
you gotta be a female. That's another thing, Donnie. I never thought about that. If you change the mask, you could kind of give away who the killer might be. You know, with the same mask, could it be a new killer? Could it be an old killer? So that's a good point, Donnie.
Go ahead, Aaron. You're next.
I would say my favorite look is probably from Kills. Just you see all of the years of culminating the wear and tear on the mask, and still he's just going for it like he's an unstoppable force. And I've always thought that Michael Myers creeped me out because Ghostface, it has the fabric overlay or the underlay, so you can't really see their eyes. But they made it a point you cannot see Michael's eyes. You know that this is a human, but you still can't see his eyes when there's supposed to be them there. And I was like, oh my God.
And I got to give credit to David Gordon Green, because those camera angles of Michael were bad fucking ass. I've never seen Michael shot better than 78 until David Gordon Green. He shot it perfect. He shot James Jude Courtney perfectly. I love it.
After he breaks the island and he's standing at the top of the stairs, that's an amazing shot right there.
Shape already knows when he breaks out when the sanatorium, he kills the guards and he opens the trunk to get his mask. That shot of Michael, best shot in the series right there. I'll die by that. I will die by that. It was just so great.
Go ahead, Anthony.
So variation wise, like Elvington was saying, it's definitely got to be Michael Myers because it has so many different variations throughout the whole franchise. I dig that. And it's cool because just like with, I like Michael from this film, it's almost like you like, a certain mask from certain films and stuff too. I like Aaron's pick, with Kills. I actually like that mask a lot. I think it's really cool. I think Kills, another reason kind of why I like Kills a lot. I just think the look and how, just like Helvington said, when he's chasing after, I can't think of, the girl that's being babysat, across from Tommy Doyle. I can't think of her name in the series. When he's chasing after her and she's hiding behind, kind of down, in the little river bank or whatever. And he's walking across the little bridge and shit. He just looks so fucking cool.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really good shot sequence. Or when they're there's some guy walking around in a white mask and he's being all kind of weird and playing hide and go seek, and then they go up to the car and he's standing there with that mask on and they're like, oh, is that our buddy's mask or whatever? And she's like, run! That part's really cool.
The way he walked up on the truck and she was trying to shoot the Desi and he just squeak chin music the door.
Honestly, God, people need to learn how to shoot guns, dude. Seriously.
Facts, man.
Yeah, pissed me off. But honestly, again, Kills had so many good references. And then he jumps up on the car, reference to the first one, when he first breaks out of the, you guys are big time. What's
asylum?
Yeah, exactly.
Swiss bro. And then he slammed his hand against the glass and broke it.
Good reference. You know what I mean? Like perfect. Like David Gore Green. Like there you go. Like that's some good homage shit right there. I like that stuff. I do like kills. To me, then what Aaron just said, you can't see his eyes. I like too, dude. I like too when you can see his eyes. I think it's cool, man. I know. To me, it's like his head's too big. I think it's cool. Like I don't know what it is, but dude, like Dick Warlock, man, he's like, I feel like he's like my second favorite. I know Nick Castle, he did a really good job in the first one, dude. But Dick Warlock, I just like his Michael. I know he's very robotic and shit, but I don't know. I just like H2 a lot. Anyways, I don't think it's Ghostface to me because, you know, again, I feel like the mask doesn't like switch up too much. I don't think the first is actually the best though. To me, when you watch some of the scenes, like I think the first one, like the mask is almost kind of small on like the actor.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of like looks a little like almost like it's too small. Second and third one, I think the masks were like way better.
Yeah,
to me,
second, third are best. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think they're like the perfect in between the new style or the newer ones, and then, you know, four looks pretty good.
4 had the ultra white. Oh, beautiful. The ultra white in Scream 4.
Well, it was because that lens was so dark, you know, like all the 2000s had like that dark lens on them, so it really popped. Like, yeah, like you said, it really popped really well.
And you're like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, dude.
No, I was just gonna say, and you were talking about how Scream 2 at 3 have the best, like that scene where they're in the car, like after, you know, they've crashed it and Ghostface is there, and
hell yeah, dude!
And they gotta pull the mask off, like just that shot. You see, you're seeing it close up, and you can see, like, we need to figure out who this motherfucker is, but I don't want to touch this, like, you know, like
that was
okay, so check this out. This was the question I was going to ask earlier. Okay, so, you know, I heard, you know, I watch Mike and Jay a lot. You know, we watched the movie, and I think I was watching one of their old streams, and they were talking about how, like, if, you know, like Lori was just a babysitter, like in the first film, like she didn't really need to be drawn out into the franchise like she was, but she was, and it was fine, and she did a really good job. Like to me, like I think in H2 and stuff like that, and obviously 2018 in the trilogy, maybe not so much the last film, but you know, if Lori dies like she did in Resurrection, we just like, okay, whatever, like, you know, if she dies, it is what it is.
That was disrespectful.
In the Resurrection, yeah.
It was disrespectful. They killed her off in a minute, 2 minutes. That was bullshit.
She signed up for it. I'm just saying. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, okay. So if Sidney Prescott would die in Scream, we would be like, what the fuck, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Really?
No.
I felt like if Sidney would have died in 4, I would have been like, damn.
Here's the thing, and I agree with Don. I gotta shout out Donnie, right? Because
you
gotta handle it with a final girl. It's and I say this all the time. You have to handle it right. I'm not against Lori dying. I'm not against Sydney dying. I'm not against Nancy dying. Anybody. You have to do it right because.
But just like Donnie said, they don't handle it right. So they would have wrote Sydney off terribly, and I would have been.
And then it's kind of like I'm not mad that she's gone. That's what I'm saying. If Lori's gone, Sydney's gone, I'm not mad. I feel like the franchise can and will move on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
If you look at Halloween Resurrection, right? People hate on the film. I think it's not a great film, but if they were to do that in today's time, it'd be knock out the park. I mean, have like, you know, if you want to keep the same story with, you know, going through a house for social media and then Michael's around.
And the technology is better.
Yeah, it works. It works. Just like the Scream the TV series, it worked, right? Bringing Ghostface into. So I think with Sidney Prescott, if she were to die in the Scream franchise, I don't think they can do it at this point because.
Is she coming back in 7?
I don't think anybody.
Well, I mean, they already had a movie without her, so they're like, "Oh, well, we can have a movie without you," and it did pretty good.
But having the movie without her and killing her,
that's
two
the
different
thing.
things.
If they're smart, they just move on from her. Because if they were to kill her off, like Child of the Corn said and Donnie said, they're not going to handle it right. They're just not. Because look what they did with Dewey. They didn't handle it right. Look what they did with Michael and Halloween Ends. They didn't handle it right. You see what I'm saying?
So do you think she's coming back in 7? Probably
Do
not.
I think Neville, 100%. I think she's coming back in 7. 100%.
Okay, well then, Shape, don't get upset. I'm sorry, dude. I just got to ask one quick question, dude. Just real quick. So how are they going to write her in, though? I'm just asking in general.
Okay, so
How do you think they're gonna write her in?
I've thought about this a lot, and with the director, I love the director. I forget his name, but he directed
Christopher Landon. I think it's gonna be fun. I just hope it's not too campy, but I think he'll be.
My thing is, if you look at Disturbia, my favorite Christopher Landon film, because I didn't know it's cinematography. If you look at Disturbia, that's all you gotta say. The franchise is in good hands. Because if you look at Disturbia and look the way it was shot, look how the characters were handled.
And it was a one-off movie.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. And this is what Christopher Landon signed on. He didn't sign on to a 2-part deal. It's a one-off. So he has complete freedom of control.
Go
ahead.
Do you think that kind of arises a problem when you go to continue the franchise?
Not at all.
There's all these competing opinions and like for instance, like I hate what Rian Johnson did to Kylo Ren. You know, and then as soon as J.J. Abrams came back, he was like, fuck all that shit he did.
Yeah.
This is what I want. Yeah. You know, Kylo's going to have the mask. He's going to look like Vader.
Kind of like what happened to Henry Cavill with the whole Witcher situation in the So, I mean,
I saw that, Aaron.
You're right. You're 100% right. He has characters such as Tara and Sam that are part of the franchise now. But at the same time, and Kirby, you have Kirby, you have and Chad and Mindy, but at the same time, you also have the chance and opportunity to do what should have been done this whole time, which I feel like they were going to do in Scream 5, they just didn't do it correctly, is bring them all together. Bring everybody's story together. And this is how I think it'll happen. Sidney Prescott has a family. She has a family. She has her husband, who is Officer Kincaid, and she has 2 kids. Now, if Ghostface wants to get Sidney, if you want to bring Sidney back into the situation, that is the only way possible. You could do Gail, but you've already did that in Scream 5 with Dewey. You had her come back because of Dewey, right? So if you did it in Scream 7, you're not. So it's going to me, it's going to be Kincaid, and the kids are going to, something's going to happen with them. Either Kincaid's going to be part of it, or they're going to target her husband, they're going to target her kids. Maybe Kincaid is the opening kill scene in Scream 7. But that's what I'm interested about.
That'd be wild.
I remember talking to Tyler Thorne when Scream 5 and Scream 6 was coming out. We were excited about how fresh the franchise was going to be and the new take now that Wes Craven is gone, right? Even though he sadly passed away. But it's like it was underwhelming. So I'm hoping that Christopher Landon sees Scream 7 as an opportunity. You have these bonus characters. You have a great character like Tara and Sam and Chad and Mindy. But you also have the return of Sidney Prescott. And don't forget, you still have Stu Macher out there. You see, so I think Christopher Landon's in a great spot. I feel like he has the best of both worlds. He has the old franchise that he can use, and he has the new franchise that he can use. If he's smart, he puts them together. Imagine a film where Stu Macher comes back. You have Sidney and her kids. You also have Tara and her family dealing with what they got. It'll be great.
Oh, I do want to say one thing.
That's
one thing, Chuck Horn. Come on, Chuck. When we say good, don't be mad, man. You know we're
off. I just knew we were gonna kind of go like off in like a different direction again. But dude, I totally dig it. I was thinking more so it has to. Yeah, I totally agree. This is the dangerous spot though. It's like, do you keep on with this core 4 stuff, or you know you got to bring Sidney in, because they kind of had to do a lot of like back and forth in 5, but they did it pretty well, honestly. It's just like, okay. I'm just wondering where the setting's going to be. I swear I have the fucking receipts. It might be a long time looking for them, but I have these receipts. I remember after 6, Conrad and I were talking about where the hell they were going to take the 7th film. And I was like, man, wouldn't it just be so fucking cool to see like a cat? I had just watched this movie called sorry for cursing. Shape my bad.
Right. Chris all night. Come on now.
You said you were going to fix that, Anthony.
It's a 2B movie. It was called Alice Lake. Is that right?
I have no clue.
Gosh damn it. Okay. Anyways, I think that's what it's called. Anyways, it was a slasher that almost kind of looked urban legend-ish, but it was a cabin setting out in the snow. And I'm just like, man, if they did a Scream fucking film out in the snow, man, like it'd be so dope. The film, the storyline in this Alice Lake or whatever, it very much had like a very Scream vibe to it. Like I'm telling you, like the storyline was very much
But
exactly the same. If you guys should watch it. I'm pretty sure it is called Alice Lake. Fuck.
niggas aren't gonna be
Anyways,
scared of Ghostface if he's making snow angels.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like how like I'm guessing
I mean,
if
maybe with decapitated people.
if they bring Sydney back, they're probably going to have to bring it back to Woodsboro. If they're trying to bring her back to
Shame.
Woodsboro, maybe they kill her dad, or maybe they, yeah, like Helvington said, take one of her family members, hostage or something. I don't know. To be honest, it's like, oh, man, I really don't know. Actually, to be honest, I feel like they should bring Sydney back, write her off correctly. They can do it, and they can bring in these other characters too to make it all seem, it can all gel together. But I think I'm wondering if it might be just too much to, put on the plate for this dude to like kind of juggle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Since they already gave her,
is he rewriting the script, or was the script already done and then they're like, here, direct this?
That's the question. Is the script done and are they rewriting it? But to go off what you said, and I'll let Donnie go, because I really want to know what Donnie has to say. With Scream 7, I don't know where it'll be. Right,
the movie is called Alice Lake. I'm sorry, it was, yes.
Alice Lake, and I think the project. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's under the title Project Blackbird or something like that. That's what Scream 7 is. That's the code name that it's under. So if we can do any investigation on what that means, we might figure out where the location is at. But I think wherever the location is at, I feel like there's a pattern happening here. Right, if you look at Scream 5. What was the branding?
Original, yeah, setting, yeah.
Scream 2, there was more of a theater aspect to it, right? And then you had the family. There was, a theater moment with. So it's followed Scream 2. Do you think they could possibly bring it back to Hollywood?
There's no way. I have a feeling that this dude is going to step away from Scream 3. I just have a feeling if anything that they bring from Scream 3, it's going to be the campiness. That's why they. I think this dude, if he does bring some campiness to it.
But where is it going to fit in at, though? Because here's how I think they would fit in the Scream sets, the new core, right? You already have the story of Billy and Sam, right? And she's dealing with that, plus how Tara's dealing with that. You can throw in Chad and Mindy. So let's say in Scream 7, they're dealing with that, right? Then you have in Scream 7 the story of Sidney Prescott, Stu. If you want to say Stu, you can say Stu, but Ghostface trying to get back at Sidney and her family, right? What if at the end somewhere, right? They've been teasing it for the past 2 movies, man.
No, she's gonna be the killer, yeah.
She's gonna snap. They've been teasing it that she's gonna snap. And I think if she snaps, who better for her to take out
than Sidney
Prescott?
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, her parents are going to have to get brought into it. If her mom and Stu were in cahoots to somehow bring Sam into, like, maybe Sam was in cahoots with them in this movie, and you find out about it at the ending, and like maybe Tara and like Sydney are like in the same boat, and they're like, oh, well, we, you know what I mean? Like maybe Sam double crosses Sarah or Tara, and then I don't know. I think for them to bring in Stu, it has to. Her parents or her mom has to be brought in. Something has.
No, that people. I keep hearing that because a lot of people in my community say that every time we watch Scream 1996, they're always like, "That's Stu. That's the baby mama, right? That's Sam's baby mama or Sam's mother, right?" And I'm just like, okay, if they brought it in there,
flashback scene, yeah.
If they bring it in there, that's just a lot of stuff they have to explain, and they only have an hour and a half, hour 45. So my best, if they do bring Stu, it has to be organically. They can't bring back characters that we don't know because then that's really nitpicking. Now I do have a theory on how they could bring Stu back. Right now, I don't know if you guys have been in the horror community. I know you guys are in the horror community. You guys know that the Scream 3 OG leaked this past couple weeks. So
this was the original film or what?
OG film. The OG cut of the film has leaked. Now, at first, I've only seen certain cuts of the film. I haven't seen the full film. They say that the full film is out there somewhere online. I haven't seen it. I've only seen the ending scene where
Stu was going to be the killer.
Where Stu was going to pop up, right? And I had this theory that after the events of 96, right, he somehow escapes he gets a false death, right? And he's on the loose, right? And again, this is still a big plot hole because you would have thought this would have made the news, right? But this is the best I can do with Stu. This is why Stu's the monkey wrench. So Stu survives 96. He goes into hiding, right? And in the events of Scream 2, he was, still hiding. He was recovering. And in Scream 3, he decided to team up with not Cotton, what was his name? The brother. Roman. He decided to team up with Roman. And at the very end, he was supposed to reveal himself. He never got the chance to because Roman died off and he just didn't know where to go from there. So from the events of Scream 3, he goes back into hiding until the events of Scream 4. And he comes up with the plan of let me radicalize Emma Roberts' character, right? So he starts talking to her or whatever. Again, that's why I just don't think Stu is possible, guys. I know everybody wants Stu to come in.
This is sounding like some Halloween ends. Where was he at? The sewer or what?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
Then here's the thing. Throughout the whole franchise,
or if they did bring him back how. Sorry.
No. I want to hear. Go ahead.
Bring him back how like maybe even Sydney could see him. Well, like how Sam is always seeing her father Billy as a ghost. Like what if Sydney started to see ghosts of everybody that she has killed in self-defense?
I like that. Or what if it's organic? Yeah. Like maybe there's no rhyme. Like that's the thing. Stu, it's easy to put Stu in the movie, right? It's easy. Explaining why he's there or where he's been is the hard part.
True.
That's what I just
somehow he returned.
Because he would have to, here's what I keep telling people. One, he would have to escape the morgue, right? Without anybody noticing.
Yep.
Two, he would have to literally live off the grid for 25, 30 years without nobody having any speculation of him being alive. So the biggest question of Scream 7, who's going to be Ghostface?
I mean, he could be alive. I mean, if Tupac is still alive. I mean, no.
I
think
it's Sam. Sam is going to be the killer in 7. It has to be.
They've been leaning toward that, more than just like a subtle, like here's a quick jab at it. Like, no, they're full on haymakers. She's unstable. And like the question I had, remember Anthony, we were talking about it, like how is she seeing somebody she never met before? Like she's having these like visions of somebody she never met or seen before. But I feel like she's out. If you bring Stu in, you bring Sydney back. If we're not gonna touch the Stu thing, just let her be. And let's just go from where we are. Because I feel like you start to do too much. Like, is she in? She's out.
That's the safest thing to do. That's the safe. Just because look what they did with Laurie. Remember Shape in the Shadows? Remember with Laurie? The biggest question with Halloween Ends is who's died? And the safest thing was to kill the boogeyman. I think that's what's going to happen. If they don't use Sam to kill Sydney, then I feel like Sam's going to get the Laurie Strode treatment, which I'm not against it or I'm not for it. I wish they just handle it respectfully.
Okay, well, here I got a good little thing, right? So say with Scream 7, right? And you know how we always get opening kill, right? Always get opening kill. Unless we don't get opening kill.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden we see his car pull up and it gets out of the car. We don't see her face. We don't see the face, right? And then he's walking up, open the door, and he walks in. All of a sudden the phone rings. And the hand picks it up. You see the hand and it brings it up to the face, and it's Sydney. And then she goes, hello. And then, of course, you get the ghost face, famous line, hello, Sydney. And then she's like, well, who is this? What's going on, right? And she go back. So they're kind of going back and forth, right? And then Ghostface says, "So you know what? I think it's time to go back where it all started." Right? Mm-hmm. And then Sidney's like, "I ain't doing shit that you want me to do. I ain't doing shit. I'm doing nothing." Right? But then Ghostface says, "Well, if you don't want your kids to look like your husband, I suggest you go back." And then all of a sudden, right as he says that, then she looks over and you see like her husband like hanging or something, dead.
Yeah, as an homage to the.
I like that. I mean, I just know Christopher Landon has, in my opinion, the best thing you could want. You have an old franchise, you have a new franchise, you have multiple characters that need to be killed off. That at this point, let's show of hands. Is anybody mad or if Chad or Mindy dies at this point? Like I'm not mad at that.
I mean, he's like,
I think one of them should have been dead already.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the fucking
like,
Terminator.
At least one
Like,
of them. I mean, just at least one. Like I'm
Could
just
you
saying,
ima-
like Chad should have died a long time ago. I'm
Could
sorry.
you
yeah, should have
imagine
died. Yeah, I agree.
a Scream film where what if it's only Sydney left?
That's the way it
That's
should
what I'm saying.
be.
I'm leaning towards
way
it's
it
going to
should
be
be.
Sam. I'm leaning towards it's going to be Sam because I'm thinking
But see,
Tara's gone, Chad and Mindy's like Sam is going to snap and
that's what I wrote that down in my notes. Oh, I'm nothing like my father. Bitch, you stabbed him more than a ham. Like, what do you mean? Like, like
she took the mask. Right? Everybody's like, oh, she put the mask down. She took it.
she took it, and she was looking at. Then when she had the gun and she was talking shit, she just looked so unhinged. Like in that moment, you know what I mean?
And instead, imagine her killing Chad, Mindy, Tara, killing everyone who's left.
Somebody who like you're that close to them. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's
And
like that's what makes it scary.
That's an homage to Scream 4, right? With Emma Roberts' character, killing the family and friends. So I think bet Sam goes ape shit. She finally gives in to her father. And maybe, you know what would be great? What if Christopher Landon played with us the whole film? What if he played with us the whole film to think it was Stu coming back?
And then it wasn't. I'd be hot as fish grease.
Like,
well, when we already know,
I'd be
because
pretty
we-
pissed.
Like you know,
Like,
I'm saying,
because I feel like everybody
I mean, it's
like
just like you
knows
said,
every-
how.
I mean-
It's gonna end up just like Palpatine. Like, how the fuck did he come back?
no, it'd be like I don't know how they do it, but if it'd be kind of like 6, right? Because like kind of in Scream 6, they were hinting at old age, mask, Ghostface, right?
mhm.
But what if they really went off the rails, right? Because we know Scream does this because they had dead meat. You know they watch these big YouTubers, right? So what if they take one of our theories, one of these big YouTubers, you know, let's take Craven Something Scary, for instance, right? Let's say they take one of Craven's theories and they put it in the movie, but only to fake you out at the end. I think that would be fucking ballsy. I think it'll be great. I think that'd be great because that's the ultimate twist. Because we know this. Does anyone else think there's gonna be a Scream 8? I don't think there's gonna be 8. As of right now, I think they're done. They're done with. After
See, this is what I'm afraid of. Like, I feel like if they don't bring Sydney back, like, what's the storyline even going to be? It's going to be stale. It's probably going to be Sam becoming the Ghostface, but what's her motive? What, like, to get back at Tara, to get back at her? Like, what's even the motive? Like, it's kind of stale, to be honest. They bring back Sydney, to be honest, they better just write it right, or like, I'm not trying to wreck on them and say that this is impossible, but I'm just saying, like, it almost seems like the only storyline that they kind of have. I could be totally wrong here. To me, it's just if they go core 4 again and we get that, and I'm just gonna be like, what is happening? Like
the same movie all over again.
I don't think Christopher Landon will do that. I don't think
he's gonna do well because he looks like me, and I think people that look,
people that look like me, think like me, bro.
No, honestly, I'm just saying though, for real though, like if they honestly don't bring back Sydney, that's cool. I mean, that's fine, and protect her legacy within the franchise. That's cool. Like honestly, if she went out in 5, to me, if she wants to do it though, then I think they should do it. I feel like she wanted to be in 6, so like if they can write it in for 7, I think they should. Not saying they have to bring back Stu. I think it'd be a cool storyline, even though I feel like they kind of said in the end, what was that kid's name? Ethan or some shit? They throw the TV on him at the end or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, see, he's dead" or whatever. Like I'd be like, "Okay, whatever." Okay, my bad. What's up, Donnie?
No, I was just gonna say, and one thing that I love was like her maturation as first Scream total damsel in distress, but she still fought back. By the time you get to Scream,
it's one of the best
one in horror history, baby. She's the best.
By the time you get to Scream 5, remember the phone rings. It's like, "Hello, Sydney." She's like, "Hello," She's just like
she knows what to do. How do you?
She's like fucking with him back. Yeah, she's like how she's like, "How are you?" Like she's just talking to him like, I'm not scared of this bullshit. I'm about to find you. I know it's probably 2 of y'all at least. Like I ain't even falling for the okey doke no more. And I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that would make it like in the end, because she's not gonna fall for that same like
Mm-mm.
bullshit ruse that everybody else would. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Even if it is Sam, Sam might be a little bit more vicious, a little bit more aggressive as the killer, but I don't
Mhm.
think that Sydney would just fall for those little landmines that that is usually set by Ghostface.
It's just like Michael with Laurie, right? Remember Laurie's transformation from 78 to the David Gordon Green's trilogy, right? She started off the Damsel in Distress, Halloween 2018. She
She
was
became
the old,
Sarah Connor, yeah.
yeah, she was the hag Sarah Connor who was going
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
crazy. And then Halloween Kills, she was the victim, Damsel in Distress again. Halloween Ends. So I feel like I think you're right, guys. I think she's going to get the Laurie Strode treatment.
I
They're
mean,
going to polish
kind
her
of,
up.
kind of like how you were saying, like Elvington, that like the way Dewey went out like wasn't acceptable. So if they take Sydney out, she's got to be the hero. Like, oh, Ghostface, you like take me. What are you,
Yeah.
a bitch or something like that? And then the last person that she would suspect is somebody that's dead. So like
Yeah.
she shoots one of the Ghostface in the head, and then one of them comes out of nowhere, stabs her, pulls his face off, and it's a patched up Stu
Mhm.
Macher. He's like, that TV really hurts Sydney.
Like,
See,
I mean,
they can do it. They can
Like-
do the stew. They just have to explain it in Scream 8. That's
See,
the only thing. If you do have
This-
him in 7, explain it in 8.
this is why I'm friends with this guy, because I don't know if he does drugs or not, but he's always thinking of some cool shit. But I was just thinking like that same thing. Like I'm like on the fence with that whole thing, because I would love to see Stu just for the simple fact that I love Matthew Lillard, right?
Oh yeah.
But the other thing is, like, all of us play video games. All of us had like the old ass TV where you had the red, yellow, and white cables.
RGB.
Like, dude, like it took fucking 3 people to move one of them back in the day, them big ass Zenith TVs or whatever. If you get that dropped on your dome, I just don't think you can survive that.
But
Like,
here's the thing. I'm right there with you. If it didn't come from the goat's mouth, if the goat didn't write Scream 3 for what it was going to be, then I would agree with you, Donnie. But with the goat saying that he was supposed to return in Scream, what was it, Scream 2, Scream 3, because of Columbine, he wasn't allowed to be in there. I feel like either Wes or Kevin was, and I don't think Kevin is going to admit it nowadays, because Kevin doesn't admit anything. Everything Kevin Williamson does. But I think Wes Craven found a loophole on how to get Stu here, because he was supposed to be in 3. So I'm halfway there with you, brother.
So what was the original story supposed to be? Like, what does the Columbine massacre have to do with the storyline of Scream?
Really not much. It was more so a cult thing, but it was a little too intense. Like you notice in 3, like it's very like
it's more like lighthearted. They're definitely
yeah, exactly. Like what's the one chick's name? Man.
Which one? Are you in 3?
Yeah, in 3 when she goes back and like all the suit or costumes are all lined up. Jenny McCarthy, like her death. Like there's like no blood, or barely anything. She kind of gets like thrown into a door, and then it's like cut screen or whatever, and stuff like that. Like
so they like took the level of like.
But basically, the Stu's role in the movie was going to be the leader. He was going to be able to survive this event.
Pretty much the mastermind,
and he was going to mastermind having all these people, and at the time, it was going to have like a cult aspect to it. And then at the end, he was going to reveal to himself to be one of the leaders next to Roman. That
still on the table then. Like, what you mean?
No, it definitely is. That's what I'm saying. Like that to me, that's the storyline. He is coercing, some people behind the curtain and shit like that, aka Tara and Sam's mom, to get fucking. But then I feel like Sam would have animosity towards like probably Stu and her mom. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know how well that would work out. But to be honest, like, oh my gosh.
No, you're right there with my
like double cross at the end, and for Sam to come out to be like the killer, it would be a good storyline. Like it would, but you would have to. I mean, you'd have to. I just feel like I hope they're not rushing into this shit and haven't really thought it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just be like a disservice. I mean, no. To be honest, obviously I'd go see whatever they're gonna put out.
That's the problem. That's the problem, Charles. The coin you can't pay for it.
It's my favorite franchise. Really, at the end of the day, I'm literally watching Scooby-Doo like right now, And like that's why I like Scream, because you do have like that, whodunit kind of reveal at the end. Maybe they don't have to have the reveal. They'll probably will, but you know what I mean? Like and maybe that's going to be cool about 7. Maybe Stu and Sydney aren't going to be back, and like you really do not know who the killer is going to be.
That's the best thing right there.
See, I think that's where part of the problem lies.
But don't lazily just make it Sam just because Stu and Sydney aren't in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
What if it's just a complete stranger? I think that'd be wild.
Is she going to save the day like, 3 times in a row? Like, that's even kind of like it's already been done.
I feel like that's kind of where we're headed, because when me and Aaron went and saw Scream 6 together, and I just felt that it's like, yo, who's it gonna be? Like, it's gonna be good. And then when Bailey was just like, oh yeah, of course it's me. I was like,
that was
damn.
And the fact they hinted it throughout the movie was even worse. I hated that. It was terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go back and watch that thing, and him crying is almost as bad as Jamie Lee Curtis, like gasping in the stairwell when she's like, "Get away from him."
It was so bad. I will say this, right? We're talking Sidney Prescott's death, Scream 7, right? This is why I love Wes Craven. So we all know the little film called Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, right? We love it, iconic film. But one of the most un-iconic things in horror history happened in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Nancy died, right? It was the first, in my opinion, the first ever final girl death in horror history, right? And
Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad. I forgot we had a historian over here, but no, that's factual. That's factual. But if you go back and look at on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Wes he wasn't okay with that. Nancy Heather Langenkamp, I mean, at the time she really didn't have a say into it, but she later on she wasn't okay with her death scene in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. And as a fan, if you guys remember her death scene,
got retconned.
It was and because of that, right? I don't want that to happen to Sidney Prescott, and I feel like that may happen to her. I feel like she may get killed in a terrible way, and then years later. But here's the thing. It's Wes Craven. Wes Craven is the reason why Heather Langenkamp is an iconic final girl. Okay, if her story would have ended with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, do you think she would be as iconic? Let's be honest. No, I can't go that far.
Well, she wouldn't be like top 5, but she would still be like
top 10.
Top 10. Like, to me, that first film is so iconic. Like, her being the final girl in that first film, like, yeah.
But now look at Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Look,
perfectly done. Yeah,
perfectly done. I love NOE. I love not 84. I love 84. I think that not 84. Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, it was 84.
84, right? Love 84. But man, that new Nightmare that's her movie. That is her fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't for her death in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, we would have never got her in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, sometimes you have to have a little bit of a shit to get to something good.
And I don't want Sidney Prescott, in my opinion. What about you guys? I don't feel like she's ever had a bad movie. Not one.
She's the best final girl of all time.
There it is.
And one second. Pasta Mop says, all right, fellas, that is it for me. You boys are some beasts. Keep up the grind. I learned a lot and had fun. Scary night. Papa Mops, he's not really big in horror. He doesn't watch much horror films. So like him, like listening to us talking and everything else, he kind of was like a little bit more of a standing for horror films. And then somebody new in the chat.
So B,
he says, what's the worst horror movie?
Impossible question.
Thanksgiving.
I got you one. I'm gonna say it right now.
Midsummer.
He's gonna say Unborn.
Megan.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started. Do not get me started. I mean, seriously. Come on.
I really hope Larry and Kirst are not watching this right now.
Do you think that child?
I've talked about this, but guys, we have to stop. We have to take some accountability here, okay? Especially you, Child of Corn. I'm talking to you, brother. You are a Chucky fan, okay? You are one of the biggest Chucky fans that I know. Child's Play 2, in your opinion, is one of the greatest sequels of all time.
Talk about it.
Well, it's probably
this is what they're
it's not
saying
better
about
than
Megan.
2018 though.
This is what they're saying about Megan. They're saying Megan is this generation's Chucky. Do you agree or disagree?
No, it is a new generation Child's Play. I get it, and like
how
we have that with this show.
How? That's like saying
it's just like a different, you know, like when they did the Child's Play remake, they already kind of did that, you know, with the AI or whatever. Which to be honest, that movie was not good. Even though I like Mark Hamill,
but it's basically Megan besides the dog. Look,
I totally agree.
Yo, Aaron, did you see? It's basically Megan besides the dog.
This was like no, seriously, check this out. Megan, right? Look, I'm right there with you. The 2018 Child's Play film, not good, but most of it was the doll. It was the doll that was. But if you look at it, it was very. It had subtleties of the original film.
Oh, definitely. It had some eeriness in it. It had some good stuff. Yeah, it had some good tone. Yeah.
But if you take the doll away, it was a pretty good horror film. You had Audrey Plaza playing it. She's a good actress. I don't think she was great for the role, but she did good in the film. But if you look at Megan, they took the best parts of Megan. I mean, best parts of Child's Play, which was basically the story of this kid getting a doll, right? Which again, that's the original Child's Play story. But what are they missing? This is what I tell people. It's not the doll. It's Brad Dourif. It's fucking Brad Dourif. That is what makes Chucky Chucky. Right? With Megan, what makes Megan Megan? A 13-year-old girl doing a viral dance down a hallway? Is that what horror has become?
That's what's hot in the streets.
We're putting her in a conversation with Chucky. And she's dancing down a hallway on TikTok.
To me, a little premature.
To me, Megan was just it was like was it Blumhouse? Did Blumhouse do that?
Yeah, Blumhouse. Hey, you got to thank Blumhouse for ruining horror. You just got to thank.
Well, see, seriously, Blumhouse is looking for those. Hey, I need to put this out in theaters, try to get some money. You know, to me, they become like the new. I've heard like Mike and Jay talk. They're like kind of like the new Marvel. They did like a tier list where most of the but don't get me wrong, Blumhouse has had some fucking bangers, man. They've had some,
good. I love
they've had Sinister 2018, like they've had some good ones, man. You know, but then they've also had just a lot of like they compared like Dimension to Blumhouse. Dimension has some damn good films, man. But again, you would say maybe we think that because we have more nostalgia with some of those films, you know what I mean? Which I probably do, but. To me, Megan was like a PG-13 horror film that they were trying to, make some money on. Which
there's a line, but they weren't labeling it as that. They didn't. Here's the thing. I remember when Megan came out, they didn't slap the PG-13 rating on it until like later.
True, that is true. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
they put it out as they didn't say it was R-rated, but they said, "Hey, this is going to be a scary ass horror movie."
Yeah,
and this is again, this is why I say it's the worst horror movie ever, because for me, it's the most overhyped, overrated horror movie in the past. And that's a lot to say. I know. But there's nothing value that I take from value from that. I rather, in my opinion, if you're going to do a film like that, I'd rather go watch something like Orphan, something like that has some type of real lifeness into it. Having a murderous teenage doll, AI doll, it just seems like you're trying, like you said, become with the times. We're going to do what's cool, man. AI is cool. Let's do that. Oh, teenage girls, that's cool too. Oh, horror movies, that's cool. Let's put it into one, and boom.
However, there was probably people our age in 1980 that were looking at the doll that's on your jacket and being like, they're really making a movie about a grown life doll, that comes to life. You know what I mean? But to me, Child's Play is some of the most original shit you'll ever find, man. Like that movie and that it's just such an original idea.
Because Talking Tina was a thing.
But and like those Cabbage Patch dolls and My Buddy, like that was a big thing in the 80s. So they were just like, oh shit, what if one of these, came alive or something like that? Like it's a good original idea, but and I think dolls came out before
Teddy Bears.
Megan was a good original idea. It's just the way they tried to sell it and market it to me. I just wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, very much cash grabbish. Yeah. And I think that's what Donnie said this a bunch. Like when you go see these movies, I'm not gonna lie. To me, so you didn't like Talk to Me?
Top Gun was
I-
one of the better ones out of the
Okay,
hype
I can
films.
dig
It was
that.
a better one of the hype films. Like the one you told me about last year, Sick. Kevin Williamson Sick. I thought that was great. Was it? It was
Yeah,
Sick,
why the
right?
fuck didn't it get a theatrical
Thank
release?
you.
Yeah,
Me
I
on
haven't
the
even
same
heard
page,
of
brother.
this.
Me on the same page. I'm on the same page. Look, I want Sick to get a theatrical release. I think Megan should be a straight to DVD release. It should not.
dude, Larry and Curtis are gonna be pissed, dude.
So let me ask you this. Wait. So if it could cross the boundary line like child's play and stuff like that, do you think that still wouldn't change the degree of it? You think it would still be like baked ass, like regardless if it was rated R or not?
If it was rated R, I would more than likely give it a bigger pass because they got to push the boundaries.
Yeah,
right?
people like that carnage candy kind of
Yeah.
shit.
For instance, there's this film that we just watched. It was called Cobweb. It's this newer film. It's a 2023 film.
Oh, I got to hear this. Watched it last night.
Oh my God, great film.
Let's go.
Great
Yes,
fucking
nice.
film. And it's because I tell these people all this time, right? When you have kids in horror movies, right? You gotta go there. You gotta go there. You can't just have them in the. It's a
Chapter
horror movie.
1. And it was a
Chapter
huge
1.
success.
But
You
like,
have
Helvington, did you notice like a lot of like what's the word I'm looking for here? A lot of inspirations that film probably went after. Like, you know what I mean? Like
you already know. Don't look under the stairs.
people under the stairs, like
People Under the
Malignant.
Stairs.
I don't want to give it away. Shit, I shouldn't even have said that. My bad if you guys haven't seen it.
It was one. It's the great.
It was a very good original idea.
the
I
greatest-
liked it a lot,
You
man.
watching-
And
It's the best horror movie of 2023. Period.
23. Oh,
Period.
Evil Dead was pretty good, man. I'm not
Oh
gonna lie.
no way.
I like
No
Evil
way.
Dead.
No way.
I like Evil Dead, but Cobweb's fucking been it was good, man. We watched it last night and I was like, man, this was I gave it a 9 out of 10.
On a fucking ride, man. Like, and
Yeah.
again, my favorite film of 2022 was Barbarian, right? You see where I'm like, if you're able to push the boundaries of what you're in, like for Cobweb, it's just, if you guys don't know, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's a story about a kid and his life in a family, right? But what do horror movies usually do if there's kids in horror movies? They don't touch them. They might put them in some scary scenes or whatnot, but they usually don't touch them, right? A la Megan, right? There was some scenes but most of the time it was the adults getting the shit in the stick, right?
But to be fair, Chucky never killed Andy or anything. He was just in peril.
That is
pretty
true.
much
That
all
is
the
true.
time.
But he did give him hell. He gave him hell.
That's what I said. He was in peril, but I mean, he never. Kids still off limits.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, my mom was like, she don't fuck with Raggedy Ann dolls or anything like that to this day because when she saw that in '88, but it does have like it's got this balance. Chucky, he could be funny, he could be serious, like he could.
And I think
whatever
that's what
you
was missing from Megan. Megan was missing the balance from me. Like there was the horror wasn't there enough, and the viral dance didn't do it for me either. The viral
and that
dance.
scene in the back of the newspaper truck on Child's Play 2 when Kyle's just like blasting the horn and he just like
Great.
it's
fucking great. And that's what I was saying about Chucky the TV show, right? That's why I'm like, you need to respect Chucky the TV show
That shit is
and not
marvelous.
Megan. This. I don't know what's going on with horror, guys. I'm again, child of corn. I don't want to sound like the old man on a soapbox, but
that
something's happening.
the Child's Play TV show was marvelous, man. Like and they went, before they didn't bring. It's cool that they brought Jennifer Tilly and they brought Andy in, they brought Kyle in. That all happened later. They was like, let's see if this shit's gonna sink or swim with what we got right here. Before we try, we're gonna bring in the legacy characters and just immediately bring everybody in off nostalgia. Let's see if this shit can swim on its own first.
Sink or swim, yes.
Like throw them in the deep end, and survive. And they did, and they're like, okay, now we can bring in the other legacy characters.
Donnie just snapped. Donnie just snapped. That's gold right there. That is fucking gold. If you're gonna bring something back, establish your characters first. Let us fall in love with those characters. And then bring in the Easter eggs. That's like icing. Build us the cake first, and then put the icing on it. Just don't give us the ingredients and say here. Kirby, thank you. They let that simmer.
They brought her in twice.
They let that simmer for years. They weren't.
Yep.
They knew we wanted her, but they teased her in 5, and they said, "Okay,
I did.
But you really want her? Fuck it. Here she is in 6." And when she came in 6, whole theater went crazy. So If they're smart, give the people what they want.
It's a simple formula. Like
Simple.
it really is. Like, you know what I mean?
When you and I'll say
Musicians-
this, we have responsibility as all content creators. If you get on your platform and you're saying something is good when it is in fact bad, just because everyone else is saying it's good, that is detrimental to the industry. We are only going to continue to get bad films.
But it's like you said though, but like you got to give the people, you know, like what they want, right? Like I'm a huge Kiss fan. Like, and if I go see Kiss and they don't play Rock and Roll All Night, I'm hot. Like, what you mean? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's
Even
what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel, dang, you're on, dude. Donnie's on it with the references tonight, man. He's fucking killing. This shit's gold.
Yes. No.
All right.
Shape is gonna cuss all four of us. Like he like
He's
he looks so
"Mike,
angry.
that's
Like,
scream."
All right.
we're sorry.
Yeah, right.
But thank you for having us.
For me, like the worst movie, I mean, fuck The Ring. It was boring as shit.
The Ring, you said?
The Ring.
Yeah, it's boring.
I'll give you that. American version of The Ring was boring. The Japanese version was interesting.
But we are going to get to our last and final round. So Michael's up 2-1 to Ghostface. So this one's going to be a two-parter. It's going to be who had the best franchise and who had the best final girl.
Oh shit! No,
It's over. Cap. It's over.
It's over.
Go ahead.
Fuck it. Let's go. All right. For me, best franchise goes Scream. I mean, it's the most consistent. Even with its non-consistencies, they figure out how to make it make sense. And the best final girl of all time, of any era, situation, killer, whatever you want to call it. And then, yes, I'm talking about Alien with Ripley. I'm talking about all of them. Sydney fucking Prescott, because it's a little about what Donnie said earlier, right? To me, the statement of a final girl, you have to learn from your killer, right? To be able to become the final girl. So throughout all 5 movies that she's been in, even the 5th, even though she wasn't in it a lot, she has learned more and more. And not only has she learned, you can see it on screen. It's not like, oh, well, we feel like Sydney Prescott has learned. No, you can see her outrun Ghostface. You can see her outsmart Ghostface. And let's go off the camera, right? When it comes to the franchise and how she treats the franchise. We know Sydney Prescott is not afraid to walk away from the franchise if 1, the money's not right, and if 2, the script's not right. We cannot say the same about Jamie Lee Curtis. We all know Jamie Lee Curtis came over with John Carpenter. John Carpenter will sell his soul for the right amount of money. And it's nothing against John Carpenter. I love John Carpenter. That's just who he is. If you know John, that's John. John's just about money. He don't care about Michael. Just being honest, guys, he doesn't. He doesn't care about Michael. If he cared about Michael, he would have never let Rob Zombie touch it. That's just facts. He gave Rob Zombie the blessing. He said, "Here, take it." Rob Zombie even came to John Carpenter for advice, and John said, "Just make it your own. I'm not giving you advice." Yeah.
When that Halloween came out, had Mustafa Akkad already passed away?
I believe so.
I think so.
So that's why it went to John to like.
I think so.
To like clear him being able to do it.
Never went through John. It was always Mustafa. So the cause, whatever their name is. So for me, it's going to be Sydney Prescott, Neve Campbell. She's at every horror convention. I think we actually tallied up how many horror conventions she's done the past 2 years. It's over 20. And this is a A-list celebrity who is doing Lincoln Lawyer. And here's another thing about her, right? This is about the final girl. Yes.
Craft. Oh man. Great movie.
She's right now in Hollywood. She is it. She is on Twisted Metal, the TV show. Lincoln Lawyer. She has roles coming out. Like
she did do that weak ass movie with The Rock too, though.
Everyone wants the Skyscraper. It's one of the best. It's one of the Rock's best selling movies.
I like Skyscraper.
All right. Movie. Look, CGI was bad in it, but it's a Rock movie. What do you expect? It's a fucking Rock movie. Like, come on, brother. So then, Skyscraper is one of the Rock's best-selling movies. I mean, it did pretty good at the box office. So, with that being said, Neve Campbell, hands down, like there will never be another Nev Campbell. There will never be another Sidney Prescott. And we thought that was going to be the case with Jamie Lee Curtis until we found Nev Campbell. Mic drop. Oh, and
you can't drop the mic and then pick it back up.
I guess you can.
Actually, I wasn't done.
No, but yeah, she's never commended you for letting your kid watch a scary movie or a Scream movie. So she's A-okay in my book. And I personally met her, so I'm kind of biased, you know.
Go ahead,
She
Donnie.
had to be something. Yeah, no. So I never met her, but I agree with Helvington, man. It's the consistency, man. Shit has to make sense. I can't stand when it's just random shit happening on the screen. Like, I'll change the channel on you in a minute. Let some shit not make sense.
I'm walking out the theater.
I'm gone. Do you hear me? Like, I can't. And some of that stuff with like was it Halloween 5? Oh, well, let's get the kid who can't talk and the deaf kid. Let's get them to try to talk and tell everybody where the killer is. Like,
Cookie woman.
Exactly. Shit like that is hard to watch.
And then they rolled up on that place. They knew exactly where it was. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking
Donnie,
about?
I'm sick and tired of you wrecking on 5, dude. What the hell, dude?
Pull up.
Go on, Aaron.
There's some dark times in the
But
Halloween franchise.
Oh, well, just fuck the rest of my point then. Okay.
I thought there was some dark jokes in there.
Go ahead, Donnie.
No, go ahead. No, you skip me. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Are you handing over? Are you handing over the mic, or are you gonna?
Let me pass it.
No,
Go ahead, Donnie.
I feel like there's some brother fighting going on here. Like,
Yeah, that's my best friend.
oh, okay. So I can let it. I was about to say, damn, mic drop.
No, I mean, I think some of that stuff with Lori, there's so many different timelines. You're trying to understand it. You look like a complete idiot when you're trying to explain the Halloween timeline to somebody that doesn't really know. Whereas you can just say, "Hey, dude, go watch the Scream in order of the numbers behind the word Scream," and you got it. Like, and I always thought Nev Campbell was kind of cute. So I mean, but I think the learning from it, because it seemed like Lori, like, oh yeah, Michael was gonna come and I'm just gonna shoot the shit out of him, but I don't know if that's gonna kill him. You know what I mean? Whereas Sydney is going to, she learned to just evade like whatever Ghostface is trying to set up. She's going to FloJo his shit at this point, because she's just not gonna get caught up with that. But like you said, the fact that you see the maturation, it's not just she's older, so she has to be smarter. No, we see like no, I see that tripwire. I'm not gonna step over it. Like whatever it may be, like just that growth, that maturation. So I think I have to go with Scream shape.
And to add on one more thing, I've never seen a bad scene with fucking Sidney Prescott. Not one bad scene. Every scene with her has me on the edge of my seat. Like, regardless of it's a chase scene, if it's a dialogue scene, like
no, that part in 3 when she's in the house that looks alike and then she falls off the roof and she's like, Dewey, he's here. I'm just like, oh my God, no, please no.
Well, I mean, look, I'm sick of you ragging on Scream 3. I'm sick of you ragging on Scream 3.
I love Scream 3, but when her mom like comes in her dreams and shit, and she's all like falling off the couch and the dog's like, what the hell's going on? Like, I'm just like, oh my God, we didn't need this. But the only reason that was in there was because Kevin Williamson didn't write 3, but it's still good. It's still bad.
It wasn't bad. I thought that.
Dude, Scream 3 is the best, dude. I fucking love it, dude.
That's a joke. I don't believe that.
The ending to 3, I always tell people the ending to 3, that's where it should have ended for Sydney. Right there was 3, and that was the thought. But that ending where the doors open and she looks back or whatever, and she goes and shuts it, and she doesn't lock it. She's at peace with her boogeyman. She's at peace with her killer. So that's why I feel like Scream 3 is
she just ice picked his ass, dude.
Scream 3, like Donnie, 100%. And another thing with the scenes, brother, the scenes. the chase scenes, like how many times have we seen Sydney fuck Ghostface up when?
But you know what though? Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give it a Scream 3 because you know what? Scream 3 was actually the first one we had one Ghostface, and he played everything on his own.
True.
But
Roman's way underrated, man.
He's the best. He's the best. Can that's
that technology doesn't exist today to change your voice to somebody you never even met before? Fuck out of here. Like, I mean,
but look, check this out. Roman, I dare, I'll fight anybody in this. The best back and forth dialogue between a final girl and her monster, Roman and Sydney, Scream 3.
He kind of comes off whiny a little bit.
No.
I wanted it. I wanted it.
It should have been me.
It should have been me, not you. No, it's good. It is good, but
the brother sister aspect.
True,
right?
Very true. Very
so
true.
It's like again,
I would be pissed off too if my mom just fucking left and was like, "All right, I guess I mean, yeah, I'd be fucking pissed too."
And it's that ending. It's like, dude, fuck you.
Well, he's a director making millions. I'd be like, fuck, I don't give a shit about any of this. But
dude, Roman and Sydney in that scene, that's when I knew Sydney was on a different level. Like that scene right there is when I realized she is better than Jamie Lee Curtis. Like my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis moment is in 78 when she's hiding from the boogeyman, like you guys said earlier, and the shape comes from the shadows. You see the mask. And you have Laurie right there. That's my favorite Laurie Strode scene.
That shape in the shadows right there?
No, not that one. No. But that scene, but it's like Ned, when I realized that she was on another level, was when that moment, when you look at Sidney Prescott's eyes, when she realizes it's Roman that has been doing this since Scream 1996, you can see it in her eyes. I pause it every time. It starts clicking. Once Roman starts saying, it was me. It was me in 96. I put Bill and Stu up to it. And I was like, dude.
Like, but see, I felt a little bit like that was on kind of like some Powerpuff Girls shit when Mojo was like, it was me.
It was me.
It was me. It was me. Like when they told him he had a hand in creating the Powerpuff Girls, and he just couldn't believe it. Like it felt like that. Like you said, though, I understand like the campiness. They was trying to go a different way with it. Let's not make this shit all dark and brooding and stuff like that. I get it, but even then, I always felt like Neve Campbell didn't like overact. I mean, there are some moments that you could point out and say, okay, that's questionable. But for the most part, it wasn't overacting. She didn't pratfall herself down the stairs and really try to break her legs like other people will go flying down the stairs and you like, damn, I really hope that was a stunt guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And to what you said, man, you can point times where Jada Pinkett Smith overacted. Hell, Tatum, Rose McGowan overacted.
That's in every movie though.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like Neve Campbell. Here, I know Child of Corn's not gonna like this. Even Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Then I want to hear it.
Even Sarah Michelle Gellar at times, and I'm not gonna say in Scream, but there are times, and I know what you did last summer, where she's a little too much, right? I'll say she's a lot.
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy. I'm not gonna say she's as bad as Jennifer Love Hewitt. Now, Jennifer Love.
I was just about to say, what are you waiting for? That's not
what you waiting for.
But did that have something to do with they let a kid write that scene or something? Who was
even worse?
Wow. No, I remember hearing something.
Yeah. Donnie's right. It was either
ill kid or something.
Yeah, it was either that was in a different movie or somebody came up with it on set or something. I can't remember.
I think it was like a terminally ill kid, and it was kind of like almost like a Make-A-Wish thing where they gave him an opportunity to write a movie scene, and that is what the kid wrote, and that's why that got put in the movie.
But I mean, nobody told her to act like that.
I mean, I think that was just Jennifer Love Hewitt.
It really could be. And by the way,
don't you be talking smack on Jennifer Love Hewitt, man.
Child of Corn's like, dude, my paws are out. I'm ready. You didn't bring up Sarah Michelle Gellar. Now you're talking about J Love.
Speaking of which, Anthony, what the fuck was up with that fat kid with the dreadlocks? Now,
right? Yeah.
Hated that motherfucker.
Hated that
guy. But no, I think even in 96, when you watch Neve Campbell's performance as Sidney Prescott, there's not one moment where you're like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know, there's not more. I think she did perfect.
Okay, I'll let Aaron go for yeah, my bad. Okay, what do you got, Aaron? Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with Helvington as well as Donnie. As as great of respect as I have for Laurie Strode and Jamie Lee Curtis, like not really once did I ever see Laurie just like, hey, aim for the head, Dewey, or anything like that. Like it for her, it was like always on sight. Whenever she had a gun, she was putting rounds into him. And
she was letting the heater blam. Like
yeah. Like she was an amazing like protagonist to the antagonist, becoming a final girl that was also pretty much a soldier, like in her own right.
And like Kelvin just said, you believed it. Like when the whole thing, like when she started to suspect Billy all the way to finding out, and just at the end, no, Sid, don't believe. And she's like, man, fuck you,
fuck that.
Like that's what I feel like. That's what a rational person would do,
right?
Lori be like, no, I've known you longer. You come in, like,
it seems not my brother. You're my neighbor. Like no,
and like it seems like more as like the time like goes on, like. She's not necessarily scared for herself. She's scared because she knows other people are gonna die.
Thank you, dude. Mic drop, bro. That motherfucker just snapped. Dude, what?
But that is the definition of a take that. Girl.
But technically, she does get duped, like pretty convincingly by Billy and Stu, to be honest, because like you just said, she was all like, don't trust me, I'm gonna shut the door, and then she shuts the door, and Billy comes down, and he's like, corn syrup.
But everybody's kind of ass in their rookie season, though.
Actually, I was actually gonna say, to be honest, I feel like the best third act is actually the first one for Sydney. I like how she gets away in the kitchen, and then she fucking calls them, and she's like, I just called the cops on your pussy, you're on your pussy ass. And then she comes out of the closet dressed up in the costume, stabs Billy. Actually,
she really stabbed him.
Stabbed him with the fucking umbrella. And I like at the end how like she always gets that perfect ending where it's like they always come back in the end, and she's like, bow, right in the head. And she's like, not in my movie. And then, you know what I mean? Like it's just
him and his mom. Damn.
So I will say that I will say franchise wise, it's Scream, only because, dude, what Scream does perfectly is they have the perfect framework, the perfect, I guess blueprint or whatever you want to call it for a slasher film. It's like literally the essential, like, and you know why? Because it's Kevin Williamson and it's Wes Craven. No offense, but it just is. But the only reason that Halloween kind of like is a little bit secondhand franchise wise is because John Carpenter didn't want to do he wanted to do an anthology. He didn't want to do a Michael Myers slasher franchise the whole way through like everybody wanted and stuff.
Meaning he wanted it to be like Tales from the Hood, different stories.
Exactly. That's why H3, we get H3 the way we got it and all that kind of stuff. But so maybe that's why it falters a little bit behind, because he was more wanting to have like a little diverse, storyline for each film, whatever. But when you say iconic killer, I would say Michael's probably just ahead of Ghostface. He's the Holy Trinity. Like, so what they lack in franchise and Final Girl, they make up for with like iconic killer. Pretty much. Yeah,
exactly. That's a really good point.
I'll say this to that, right? Me and Shape have talked about this before. Shape, the reason why a lot of our parents and grandparents and why even us hold Michael to a certain statue, it's the Jordan conversation, right? It's, well, that's Jordan. Well, that's Michael Myers, man. I mean, my grandma watched Michael Myers. My grandpa watched Michael Myers, right? So I think there will be a time, if they do continue the Scream franchise, that it will be Ghostface. Because we see that Freddy Krueger has fell off. And this isn't any fault to their own. This is just where the franchise stands. Because of legal issues, Freddy has fell off. If he makes a comeback, it's great. But it's like, what you been at kind of thing. Michael Myers, if he makes a comeback, it's great, because it's like when Jordan decided to play baseball. Like, we're happy to see you, Michael, even though you really shouldn't be here right now. Or it's like when Jordan came out of retirement the second. So it's like,
okay, however, though, I totally agree, dude. But just imagine if 2018 wasn't as good as it was. What if it wasn't that great? Would we be saying the same?
Yeah, because I think he already was an icon before that came out.
But would people be like, "Oh man, this franchise is kind of lacking, man"?
But I'm saying he
For
already
what Nightmare is lacking in installments or entries in the franchise,
Okay.
is it more consistent and worthy of, like, you know, are they just better films? Like, you know what I mean? Compared to me, honestly, Nightmare is super, super consistent. Great stuff. Like,
Right.
I like Freddy's Dead. I think that shit's fucking fun. I think it's fucking cool as shit. I like New Nightmare. I like them all. I honestly do. But and I like all the Halloweens too. I mean, maybe for the exception of Ends, it's not really that much, but I don't know. I think Michael is just as iconic and became like this god tier like icon because 2018 just freaking propelled him above.
Well, but see, I think there's a new generation that's seeing him. That's like their first time seeing him, and they're like, "Oh,
True.
this motherfucker is unstoppable. This is great, whatever." Whereas to us, he was already cemented. You know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna say, yeah.
To me, there's like no disrespect. There's nothing that Jordan can do right now that's gonna make him better than what he is.
That's
He
fact.
was already
trash.
like in 1999 when the Bulls ended, he retired that second time, or whatever you want to say. He was already cemented as what he was. That's why I think people don't hold the Wizard years against.
He was still selling out arenas, just like Michael is still selling out films. Like that's like once Michael's at now.
It's like usually once you reach that plateau, once you crescendo there, like more often than not, you stay there. You know what I mean? It's like, like Prince, up until the day he died, was still selling out arenas. He may not have been as popular as he was when Purple Rain came out, but he was still that, like, he had already earned that legendary status. He was there. You know what I mean? Like,
and I agree with Child of Corn. Ghostface hasn't got that yet.
Yeah.
But give him, if he does have more installments in the franchise, it won't be long until he'll be up there with Jason and Michael and Freddy.
So who's LeBron and Kobe then? Is Freddy Kobe and then Jason's LeBron? Because honestly, May said it earlier. Jason is the best. Jason might be the most iconic killer of all time. I know we say it's Michael because I feel like we favor him, but I feel like people know Jason. Like when they see that mask, man, it's. Everybody knows Jason, dude. Like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like we didn't grow up in the 80s where we recognize, like, how big Jason was in the 80s, and same with Freddy. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like since Jason hasn't I just watched 2009, Michael, whatever that guy's name was, Nispel, the guy that did TCM 03, and
Michael Bay.
No, it's like.
Was it Michael Bay?
No, it's Michael Nispin or something.
You're talking about the 2009?
Yeah, 2009.
Aaron, you know this. Michael Bay. Question.
I mean, I know Michael Bay produced it.
Jason. Yeah, Chris Christian. Michael Bay directed or produced it.
Platinum Dunes produced it.
Well, here's mine. This is pretty much going to be a tie 2-2 because for me,
tie.
Yeah, it's going to be tied 2-2. I mean, for me, I love Halloween. I love the franchise. That's always going to be my bread and butter. Always. I love Michael Myers. It's always been, like I said, my top favorite franchise, my top favorite slasher all the time. But I will have to give it to Scream because, one, I don't really care for Jamie Lee Curtis. I just don't. I said I didn't mind her at all, but then when she kind of like said, the whole thing about parents are terrible to let your kids watch,
exactly. No.
I kind of had a taste in my mouth, and then it kind of seen her nowadays, like what she's doing now, and everything else, like, dang, you're too fucking stuck up. So
her ego and stuff is taking over.
She didn't know who Scout Taylor Compton or Danielle Harris was.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking.
But I want to go to, but the favorite goes Scream because one, for Scream, it has been it's probably the first one ever, in my opinion, that's been a continuous franchise. It's been continuous. There's been no retcons. There hasn't been. I mean, honestly, look at Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is kind of everywhere. We got new characters. There's always a new final girl throughout the whole movies. There's always somebody new. It's like a different story, different storyline, everything else. Same with Nightmare on Elm Street. In a way, it's kind of had different storylines, different people, different things here and there. I mean, it kind of kept up a little bit, but then it didn't disappear. And then you got some other new characters, and it kind of went on to like a whole new little story, everything else with Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. Halloween, we got 5 timelines, different stories basically. So Scream is the only one that stayed consistent throughout the whole franchise and has been the most consistent final girl. I mean, with Halloween,
Hell yes.
I mean Halloween. What Laurie Strode was in 1 and 2. She died off in 4. Supposedly, we didn't see it, but she died in a car accident. Then it was Jamie Lloyd, but then of course she came back for Halloween H2O and Resurrection. Then we had new final girl in Resurrection at the end, and then of course we ended up getting new ones, and of course she came back again. So I mean, it's kind of all over the place for that one, but Scream has been consistent with the final girl and the storyline.
I have a question. So what do you attribute that arrogance or that ego like centric attitude to, like what do you attribute that to, like why she has that now when maybe she didn't have it when they did H2O or Resurrection or
she
whatever.
did okay when it comes to H2O,
but wait, I wasn't done. Like because I'm thinking of like how it now it seems like he's kind of relaxed on it a little bit, but like when they first did like Force Awakens, Mark Hamill was like, this is bullshit. Like Disney doesn't know how to do Star Wars and all this and that. And I feel like now he's kind of like, it's all right. But at first maybe he didn't have a place in it. Then they were like, oh, hey, we want Luke to be in it. And now he was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I'm a fan of this.
I think with Jamie Lee Curtis, like she's like Hollywood royalty, Tony Curtis's daughter, and then I can't remember her. Yeah, like she's Hollywood royalty.
That doesn't just give you a reason to just
no. But wait. Here's my thing about Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the fucking again. When you come with Jamie Lee Curtis, she's with John Carpenter. They don't give a fuck about the Halloween franchise. They don't give a fuck. When she came back for H2O, she thought John Carpenter was gonna come back. John Carpenter said no. So she came back in just for what? And then she thought that Halloween H2O was going to be done. It's going to be the end of Michael Myers, end of the Halloween franchise, right? But nope. But Kyle wanted to do Halloween Resurrection. She said, fuck that. Just kill me off. I'm done. So they killed her off from getting into Resurrection. Guess what? Halloween 2018 comes around. Jay, we're going to do this. We're going to do 4 years later. Oh, wait. We're going to do another Halloween? Okay. I'll be part of that with the money. Got the money. The same thing with John Carpenter. John Carpenter came back for the money.
And because there's an exorbitant,
it's all about money. And of course, with Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't give a fuck about the Halloween franchise. Neither does John Carpenter. I hate to say it, but John Carpenter just says, "Hey, if you want to make Halloween movies, go ahead. Just write me that check. That's all I want.
Them not giving a fuck and complete arrogance are two different things. But yes, I understand that there's an exorbitant amount of money. Now, you realize these motherfuckers are getting paid $300-400 million just to play basketball and baseball and shit. Like, it like when we was kids, like that wasn't a thing. Like if you was making 20-30 million, like you was like top tier. But it's like I'm not saying that it's not anything, but I'm just saying.
Same thing with even Nev Campbell, like even Helveton's got 100%. Nev Campbell goes to all the conventions,
right? That's
goes and be there. Where's
it comes down to
he said A-list celebrity, and she doesn't seem to be all arrogant.
It comes down to what it comes down
but
to.
That's the thing. But that's saying that when it comes to Nev Campbell cares about the franchise because again, this is what made her. Scream was what made her.
Humility.
So, John Carpenter, when he made Halloween, it was iconic, and it was his baby, right? But I tell you have to separate Wes and John because Wes Craven is a horror director. Period. He might love like John Carpenter loved, not John Carpenter, but Wes Craven. He loved old Western movies just like John Carpenter. He loved the old sci-fi movies, but he knew what he was good at, right? And when he found Nev Campbell, right? And same thing with Robert Englund. Robert Englund was in theater. He grew up he's a thespian. He was an actor in the theater. So when you find people who really care about what they're doing, a la Robert Englund, a la Nev Campbell started in the theater. Tony Todd, people who actually care about their art, then you get what you get. Jamie Lee Curtis was the daughter of 2 Hollywood legends who met up with an up-and-coming director who made a great horror film. That's it. That's all.
But what you're saying, so what I'm hearing though is she already had this air of arrogance about her because I'm born into this Hollywood royalty as it is. So therefore, whatever it is, like I'm cool. Like I kind of feel like help me, what's dude's name that plays Han Solo?
Harrison Ford.
I
Yeah.
feel like he had something else that he did where he was like, "Fuck Star Wars, they could kill Solo for all I care because I got this Indiana Jones shit." Like,
Yeah, he did.
You know
that.
what I mean? He and like
But
no, but
Nev
I'm saying
had
like
that. Nev
No, but
had that. She had the craft and wild things. Like she had everything.
Yeah, Wild Things. No.
Wild
But
Things
it's
is a
like
good movie. Yeah.
it was West. That what it comes down to, it was West. West is the reason why Nev is the way she is. West is the reason why Robert is the way he is. John Carpenter is the reason why, mixed with her parents, is the reason why Jamie Lee Curtis acts the way she does.
See, I guess I never really saw that from her until this trilogy, and then we was getting close to the end
Donnie,
of it.
I totally agree. Honestly, I mean, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet I've seen some stuff where she seemed pretty cool, like with some of her like other, like I'm saying to me, she's getting into, I don't even want to get into it really, to be honest. Yeah, I think she was like, I'm executive producer of this trilogy. My name's on this. I'm gonna kind of do with it what I fucking please. I'm not saying that's totally true, but I'm just saying, to me, I felt she was kind of, pulling the strings a little bit more on how it was gonna play out.
Perfect example. Dr. Dre and Ice Cube with Straight Outta Compton, because they made the movie about them rather than about the band. They don't talk about MC Ren. Eazy-E had a killer diss track back to Dr. Dre. They don't play that. They played every fucking bar, no Vaseline though, because of who was the EP on. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
it's about Dre and Cube, and part of that I think is because Eazy-E isn't here, but that's exactly the same thing that. There, when you look at it, it says executive producer Andre Young, O'Shea Jackson Sr. Like, they're the ones that are telling the story of the whole NWA like situation. So it seemed exactly like that same.
And people forget about Deborah Hill. Like, Deborah Hill is so influential in Halloween. Like, and I never hear John Carpenter talk about Deborah, right? Not only did he had another wife after Deborah, right, that he, claims more than Deborah, but again, that's just that personality of, and it's nothing against them. I mean, your personality is your personality. And Shape, you said something a while ago. You know what? John Carpenter wasn't interested with Rob Zombie's Halloween, was he? He wasn't as interested.
He didn't care because, again,
he got paid.
He got paid for it. He don't care.
David Gordon Green hired John Carpenter to do the score for Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. How much money do you think John Carpenter got paid from doing the score to that? Not only did he do it, guess who else did it? His son did it.
Yeah. But again, when it comes to John Carpenter,
money, man.
Halloween was supposed to be one and done. In a way, Halloween was supposed to be one and done. The Akad's, everybody wanted to do a second one. John Carpenter said, no, I don't want to do it. But John Carpenter wanted to do the Thing. He wanted to do the Thing. Well, the Akad says, no. Either you make a Halloween 2 movie or you ain't making a Thing. So they actually had a lawsuit right there, a lawsuit that's saying, hey, John Carpenter, you come back to do Halloween 2, then you can do your thing. There was a lawsuit about that.
Because
he wrote it in one night in a 12-pack of beer.
Like, what? Like, you think you would have to force Wes Craven? They never forced Wes Craven to come back to do a Scream. Like, he literally signed on to all the projects.
Oh, no, they forced Wes to fuck over Curse, dude. They were like, hey, we need it like this.
Oh, that's Curse. I'm talking about a mainstay franchise. Like, I'm talking about like
Curse was not a
great movie. No,
it's a good movie.
No, Curse is a great movie.
I just watched.
I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure there's probably been times where both directors have probably not got to do what they wanted to do.
But walk away though, that's my thing. Wes has never walked away. John's walked away multiple times. Jamie Lee Curtis walked away multiple times. There's that's why there's levels to this shit. That's why Wes Craven is and I want everyone to hear look at me when I say this, okay? Wes Craven is the greatest horror director of all time. Period. Point blank. Don't care who you think is better than him. You can say Alfred Hitchcock. Great. He had maybe a 20-year span. Wes Craven had over 30, 40 years of bangers. Okay. So we're talking about the greatest director of all time and the greatest final girl of all time. Let's not even talk about Robert Englund. Like, If there was no Wes Craven, guess what? No Robert Englund.
But that's the thing that what comes with Wes Craven. Wes Craven would what he did with like Nightmare on Elm Street and of course the Scream franchise. Those were his babies. So he took care of him, nurtured him, everything else. John Carpenter, totally opposite. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do this movie. I made Michael Myers, but you know what? I don't give a fuck.
But
Now,
technically, if you
where Wes didn't direct every Nightmare on Elm Street film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Technically, if you look at it, he didn't want to do another Nightmare on Elm Street. He was like, I don't want to do it. And then they brought him back for 3 because they were like, we'll give you all the control. But yet they still like didn't give him all the money he wanted because apparently they said it could have been better than it was.
Which that is 100,000% true.
Yeah, obviously wasn't that bad, but he didn't direct it either. But he wrote obviously the majority of it. But
so
to me, I've even heard stories where they said he didn't really want to do a Scream 2. But obviously they were like, dude, we need to make money. That Scream 2 came out the next year. It was like the next year.
I agree with you, child. Like there could be times where, if John Carpenter wakes up and says, I really want to focus on this project, right?
That's he just has a creative mind where he's like, I want to do this anthology. Like he didn't want to really. He's a director with an ego. He's like, I don't want this whole thing to be about not my Halloween movie and it being about this iconic killer that I created in this first film. I want these movies to be remembered like by my creative genius. You know what I mean? Like Halloween 3, like The Thing, The Fog. Like you know what I mean? Like that's why he wanted to do other shit.
But let's take it back to the 80s, right? Let's remove hindsight. You're in the 80s. Nightmare on Elm Street #1 just got 1984 banger, right? You're the studio. You come up to Wes and you're like, hey, yo, Wes, do you mind doing a 2? Like, hey, it's a banger, right? We'd love for you to do it. And then the crowd is saying, us fans are saying, hey, Wes, do a #2. Like, let's do it, right? Here's the difference. Wes Craven says, well, I don't really want to do it, but you know what? I'm going to do it. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, it's a good movie. Right? Here's the difference between John. John don't want to do it. He will fucking tank the movie in spite of everybody else. The fans, the production company, all of that. Wes Craven has never tanked one of his babies. Not once. Now, he might not be signed. He might not be thrilled about Scream 2. Scream 2 was a damn good movie. He might not be thrilled about Scream 3. Scream 2 is a damn good movie. He might not be thrilled about Scream 4, but guess what? It's a damn good movie. You cannot say that about John Carpenter and his franchises.
And just another one-off, fucking Vampire in Brooklyn's classic. Like,
Mic drop.
I love that movie.
Yeah, but John Carpenter's Vampires is another great movie. James Woods, you guys should watch that shit. Alec Baldwin, that movie's a banger.
But nobody said that it was bad. We just said that he don't give a fuck.
No, but okay, this is what I'm saying. Wes Craven didn't do Nightmare on Elm Street 2, though. He was doing Hills Have Eyes 2, and Hills Have Eyes 2 bombed, absolutely bombed, and then he came on.
But why does that mean that he didn't care about it though?
No, I'm not saying he didn't, but he again had the same kind of outlook that John did. He was like, I don't want to be remembered for this like one film. He's like, I want to end it this one way.
Right.
The ending didn't even end the way he wanted it to. He didn't want there to be like what do you call that?
Which film?
Well, you don't want that. What's that? What's that? Cliffhanger. Exactly. You don't want that cliffhanger at the end. You want to just leave it at rest. Like he didn't get killed off the way he wanted Freddy to get killed off, like the whole 9 yards. Like him reaching for the mom through the door. He didn't want any of that shit to happen. But the studio's like, fuck it. Was it Bob Shea? Is that the guy's name? Yeah.
So you're saying Wes didn't want the ending to 84 to be the way
84, nope, it was not the ending he wanted. Bob Shea was like, I need another fucking sequel. He's like, I don't want to do it. The other guy came in. I can't think of the dude's name. He actually ragged on Wes Craven in the first one. He was like, I don't know why everybody's thinking this is such a great film. He's like, I can do one better. Nightmare 2 actually was really fucking good. I don't think it's better than the original, but it's fucking good. But then they brought him in for 3, and he was like, okay, you're not going to direct it, but we'll fucking give you creative genius to write this shit. And he did. And that's why, he killed her off, Nancy and shit, but then he brought her back in New Nightmare. And,
So, Shay, what you were saying about the first one, you were saying it was like a contractual like thing.
Definitely.
To have John Carpenter do, I guess it was Halloween 2, right?
Yeah. Well, they more so needed him to do a number of movies, and Halloween 2 was one of them that they wanted. Rick Rosenthal directed it, but he wrote the thing.
Right. So that part I do know. But what my question was is, So Mustafa Akkad had been involved since then. So that meant he had like 50% ownership of it, or like what to have that
Probably
power?
like
Because
75 or something.
so in the music industry, there's a thing called the compulsory license law, which means that any other artist, if they want to cover your song, they don't have to ask you. They can go right to the record label and ask them. So if Prince was alive, I wouldn't have to ask him, "Can I do a cover of Purple Rain?" I go right to Warner Brothers. If they say yes, he don't get shit. He can't say no. It does not matter what Prince's opinion was because of this law where you're able to just
No,
take
because
other shit.
when it came to John Carpenter, I think after Halloween 2, I believe after Halloween 2 or 3, I can't remember which one it was, but it might have been after 3. John Carpenter sold the rights.
It was after 1. He
After
didn't.
1, he did?
Yeah, he didn't make enough money on 1, so he sold the rights, and that's why I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because even in all the Halloween films, I mean, the score changed, but it still had the same Halloween theme, but it had like different tweaks,
different notes and different.
I think I'm
see,
pretty sure. Oh, sorry, Donnie.
No, I was gonna with the music thing. It's like there, there's ways to bend the copyright law and stuff where you could take that and you could take the Halloween theme and I'm not sure what key the original is in, but you could move that shit a half step. It's in C, you play it in C sharp. Now legally they can't sue you, even though you're playing the same thing. Like there's all these like little loopholes and all that stuff, and that's why I was trying to say.
Did she co-write Halloween 2?
I thought he wrote that shit. She might have, but I thought it was like famously like he wrote
it. I think they both write it. I think they both write a Halloween 1 and 2.
Get Deborah.
Did he do the score for Halloween 2?
Yeah.
He did do it. Okay.
He's got that more like 80s like synthesizer. He was definitely using like a Moog or something on there. But
even going back to even like you said, like Jimmy Curtis, like Arrogant Cheese, whatever. I mean, honestly, when it came to Danielle Harris, I mean, you can get him to tell me, don't know who Danielle Harris is, and see when Danielle Harris walk up to her friend, whatever, and say, hey, blah blah. Well, I don't know who you are because I only watch Hollywood movies that I'm in.
And that's where
that's what I'm saying. Like most artists don't view or listen to or whatever their own material. You know what I'm saying? So that's weird to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of.
My thing is though, you're at a Halloween premiere, right?
You're right.
Everybody knows who Danielle Harris is. Everybody knows who she is.
No, here's the thing. I'll give Jamie Lee Curtis a pass because Johnny Depp doesn't watch his own movies, right? So there's a lot of actors out there who don't watch their franchise, they don't watch their movies. So I'll give it a pass.
Jamie said that she watches the one that she's in.
Right. Okay.
Right,
So
that's the point.
If you go that far to watch what she's in, you couldn't have watched Halloween 4. You couldn't have watched. You're telling me there's no point in your life that someone's never talked about Danielle Harris.
But that's some narcissist shit. That you're like, I can only watch it. Like, I can only watch it by a minute. Like,
well, even in the. Do you guys ever watch? Did you guys watch the Oscars?
I've seen the clips of.
I think somebody won, and he had a speech, whatever, and then she got on stage and used the exact same speech that he used.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like
somebody.
Keep Jamie Lee's name out your fucking mouth.
but that's my thing though. When it comes to like I said, for me, I love the Halloween franchise. I love Halloween. Everything else. I mean, that's who I am. I'm Shaping Shadows. I base YouTube off of Halloween, Michael Myers. But I love the franchise. But then it's like again when like over time, as I see, I thought John Carpenter, he loved Halloween, he loves Michael Myers, Then later comes to find out, it's like, man, he's actually just in it for the money. It's like, man, that's kind of. I mean, again, money's money. Everybody wants money. Everybody loves money.
It's not like
but you thought it was passion, not just cashola.
Yeah, but again, when it comes to like I got the passion for Halloween. I got the passion for this franchise. It's my passion. It's like I'm assuming that hey, they got the same passion too. But then again, it's like when I find out he don't want to do another Halloween, or I don't want to do this, or I'm only. And then he said, I'm only in this for the money. Just write me the check. You want to do Halloween? Just write that check. That's all I want. Just write the check. You could do it. He even stated too. You could do as many Halloween movies as you guys want, as long as I get my check. That's it. So to me, it's like, well, you don't care about this. And even like Jamie Lee Curtis, she was the same way. Like I said, she thought that H2O was going to be the end. So she signed on for H2O. And then Mustafa Akkad said, nope, we're going to do a resurrection. She's like, cut me out. Just kill me. kill my character off.
Don't matter what the story is, just kill me.
Yeah, whatever it is, just kill me. I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Imagine
but
that.
wait. But then she even stated too that she hates horror films. I hate. She said, I hate horror films. I don't like horror films.
And technically, horror films made her fucking career.
And not only that, too,
exactly.
Even when she stated that, that whole big thing where parents are terrible parents. Even your kids watch horror films. Now, to me, like with the stuff that I got going on, that pretty much for you guys on screen know what I'm going through and everything else. That that's my mom and stuff. That's how me and mom we are close.
Yeah,
I watched Halloween. We watched Friday 13th together. She's big and Jason. Yeah. We watched Friday 13th together. We watched Nightmare on Elm Street together growing up. So it's kind of like I have those memories like that with my mother. So tell me that people that their parents passed away and they have the only memory of them is watching those horror films, and you're gonna say they're terrible fucking parents.
Sometimes, man. Sometimes your heroes ain't really what you think they are. Like
that's
just what. But I'm saying it's like it. Because going back to the whole like narcissism thing with her, it's like, you have other streams, Anthony, you have them too, Hamilton, like, y'all have other stuff, and to me, I feel like that would be jaded in me to sit up there and say I'm, y'all's friend and support y'all stuff if I only ever watched the streams y'all did that had me on it, though.
Yeah,
like. That's complete bullshit, But like you said, though, you have a connection. Like to this day, everybody, wrestling is fake, right? And it's all this and that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Me and my grandmother have a bond with pro wrestling, and you know what I mean. And God forbid that it's no time soon, but when I lose my grandmother, that's the same. I'm gonna be thinking about the day I was with her, my mom, and Aaron, and we saw the Undertaker in person. You know what I'm saying? Some shit that people like that they can't see now because he's retired. And I can sit there and say, with my grandmother, I seen, because I think he's the greatest of all time. But to say that, you know what I mean? To just be, it like you said, to just hear that, and it's like I said though, sometimes your heroes they ain't what you think they are. You heard that whole adage like never meet your heroes and shit because it's just gonna disappoint you kind of thing. You know what I mean?
But then you got some heroes that are pretty much humble as fuck. Like,
no, I'm not saying that everybody's
Nick Castle. Nick Castle goes to every horror convention. He's like, "Hey, I'm Michael Myers, guys. Come on, he'll sit and talk to you. Bullshit, everything else." James Jacorn, James Jacorn is one hell of a guy. He loves playing the character Michael Myers. He says stuff like that. Hell, he even said that. Hey, people come up and say, "Hey, man, can you put the mask on?" And he said, "No. If I put that mask on, I become that character. And I'm start killing everybody in this convention." What he said, So it's like you have people that even Danielle Harris. She goes to the convention. She's going to be in Screamfest, and she's passionate, and she wants to do another Halloween film, and she wants to do another Halloween film.
And I think too, like once you ascend to like a certain level of stardom, that's when you start to see that change. It's not that The Rock doesn't appreciate his fans, but I think the fans that come up and talk to him about wrestling, not that he doesn't talk to them or interact with them, but that's a little bit. Like
that's his past life.
That's more on the back burner than if somebody came up and was like, "Oh, I loved you in the Fast and Furious shit."
Rather than XFL, like I think he has a chip on his shoulder that he never got to really play.
Yeah.
But
just like John Cena, right? When The Rock came back, he said, "John Cena's like, you're supposed to be the people's champion. I've been here every day. You went on and did a little movie career. I was still in this ring every day."
To be fair, John Cena's doing the same thing. Number one.
Exactly.
Number two, and Cena was talking about. Cena was talking about some. Oh, he was like, when I said that, I didn't actually understand like how grueling of a schedule it is. Because like once he was doing like Peacemaker and shit, he was like, I was totally wrong when I said that to him. But like it's to that point though. I feel like if you went up to Rock and you was like, man, I remember when you threw Austin off that bridge in Detroit, you might get like a chuckle or whatever, but that's not like what's paramount to him at this point. That's not what he wants to talk about. So he might come across a little bit like, hey, like fuck that part, like that's over. You know what I mean?
I think I talked to Nev Campbell. I met her 2 years ago, and at the end of the day, it comes down to this, right? I talked to her and I asked her. This is the question I asked her. I said,
"On a date with me?"
Oh, well, of course. I got to tell you the full story when I met her, man. It's a crazy story. But I asked her, I was like, what am I going to ask her? I don't want to ask her anything stupid. I don't want to ask her. So I asked her, I said, I'm standing in line. If you ever been to a horror convention, there are thousands of people there. People don't wear deodorant. It's sweaty. It's smelly in there,
Son of a bitch.
and yet you have $1 million queen right here.
And she's hugging everybody.
She's hugging everybody, and I'm standing next to the people she's hugging. They don't smell good. I'm telling you right, they don't smell good. She talked to them, and I'm sitting here and I asked her. I said, "So Nev, why do you do this? Why do you come to convention after all these years?" And she tells me, she says, "It's because this is the closest thing to theater that I can do." She says, "It's because of y'all. I love hugging you guys. I love talking to you guys." And I remember posting that, and people were saying, "No, it's about the money." Do y'all understand how much Nev Campbell's worth? Y'all get how much she's worth, right?
She doesn't need to be there.
She doesn't.
Exactly.
She could easily do signing giveaways. She doesn't have to be there.
She could just do like virtual shit or not show up at all. Like,
where's Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis did like a signing on her
but
whatever, and then send it out to the mail. And some people got was like, "Oh my god, I got Jamie Curtis."
But now you can. Nev Campbell, she is at the convention, standing there, sitting in that uncomfortable chair, signing thousands of autographs, taking 5 minutes of everyone's time, talking to them, hugging people's children. That's why she's the GOAT.
And it was that same thing when me and my mom met Kiss, because everybody was like, "Oh, they're rock stars. They're gonna be so arrogant and all this shit and stuff like that." And I mean, Gene Simmons came and he signed every records, guitars, whatever it was. He signed it like Aaron, you seen that picture? Like, he came. My mom was like, he just loves Kiss and it's your favorite band, all that. And Gene Simmons like, really? And he just grabbed me and he hugged me so my mom could take the picture. But like, you know what I mean? And everybody's like, "Oh, well, he's just gonna be all arrogant and stuck up and all that."
That's what they say. I've heard the same thing about Gene Simmons. I've heard the same thing. But now that you tell me that, bro,
that's the thing. Not to say that he isn't and doesn't have an ego. I mean, he came from Israel.
So it can be good days and bad days.
Right. But it seems like Jamie Lee Curtis has nothing but bad days.
Like when somebody asked her to do something. But it's like the fact of the matter is there was all these people and they signed all this shit, and because they could have very well have been like, "Nah, we're not gonna sign stuff. We're just gonna thanks for the money." But like they did like a acoustic show for everybody. They gave us stuff for them to sign if you didn't bring anything, and then we got to take pictures with them in their regular clothes. Then we got to take a picture with them in the full Kiss makeup. Then they went and performed for 2 hours after that. Like,
there's a difference between celebrities and artists. If you're an artist, you love what you do. You love everything about you do. If you're a celebrity, you love what you get from the things you do, right? And that's what it comes down to. And I love that.
That's the mic drop.
I love that Kiss treated you like that because, dude, I can imagine. Fingers crossed. I have tickets to meet Ozzy Osbourne. I think in November at and I think it's Pennsylvania. So fingers crossed I get to meet him. But man, it's about that moment, man. It's about that moment.
He's been the Prince of Darkness since 1979.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. And I just hope that I've been to all these and I've met celebrities who are assholes. I'm not gonna lie. Tom Savini, he's a fucking dick. He is a huge dick. Who else? Christopher Nelson. I haven't met him personally, but I stood next to him in like line. He sounds really fucking cool. Like he sounds like a great guy. Robert Englund, haven't met him, but from what I've heard, he's a great guy. But I've never heard anything good about Jamie Lee Curtis. Not one thing. So
Aaron, have you met celebrity before?
Not that I can remember. I feel like I would.
Not that you can remember. I mean, no, but it's that same thing. When Nelly came to the children's hospital when I was a kid, I remember he came to see all the kids that were sick and all this shit. And I remember my mom was like, when he came in, like, he had the security guard with him, or the bodyguard with him, and like my mom was like gonna hug him, and then she stopped, and then she, like put her hand out because she didn't know. He was like, "No, it's fine." And like, yeah. And he came and yes, like he had that Band-Aid on, he had that big ass #1 chain, but it was just the fact that he was like that cool. He really could have been like, no, don't touch me, like you know what I mean. He could have been stuck up like that or whatever the hell. But
I'll give you guys a funny story. I met Jeff Hardy a couple weeks ago, and Jeff Hardy's my favorite wrestler of all time.
What?
And, yeah, it was, dude. Oh, fucking greatest moment. But Jeff just got out of rehab like 6 months ago, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a beer in my hand, right, and I'm next in line. So I'm talking to my homeboy out, and I'm like, hey man, will you hold my beer, right? I don't want to take a picture, and I'm kind of being loud, and Jeff can hear the conversation I'm having. And Jeff was like, man, get over here, dude. Come take that fucking picture. If you want the beer in the picture, have the beer in the picture. I was like, fuck yeah, I want the beer in the picture, bro. I was like, okay. I was like, I want 2 pictures. I want one without the beer, one with the beer. And so I'm in Jeff Hardy's fresh out of rehab, right? Cool as fuck. We're taking a picture, and then we talked for like 2-3 minutes about how much I talked to him about music because I love his music, right? And it was the greatest moment. But it's like me, right? I've had one person at a horror convention recognize me, right? And they came up to me and was like, yo, Helvington. And I'm like, who the fuck is I'm not from this city. How the fuck people know my name, man? Like, the fuck? And then he comes up to me, he's like, yo, I'm like, dude, I sit behind the camera on YouTube just like everybody else, okay? And that's what it comes down to. I'm a human being, that I'm an artist, and I hope that when you meet a celebrity, that's what it has to be. That's Nev Campbell, multi-million-dollar princess Nev Campbell is in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Atlanta, sitting in a chair just like this, talking to people just like me and you for what, $50?
But it's that human experience, that exchange of like they're not at this point where they're like just unreachable. Like
they'll never be
what I'm saying? It just like it really does change. But yeah, what I was gonna say, if I had a question to ask Jeff Hardy, it would simply be, how the hell are you alive? Like
oh, dude, I wish he retired. I wish he retired.
All the shit that he has done.
I asked him, I was like, why don't you retire? And he told me, I swear to God, he told me, idle hands is the devil's playground. I said, ain't that the truth, brother? Ain't that the fucking truth? Because look, if you've ever had a drug problem or a drinking problem, that's the fucking truth. If your hands stop being busy, the devil starts playing, and that's what it is with Jeff, man. Jeff, he wants to quit, but his body won't let him.
He really is an enigma, like but
charismatic enigma. This dude, 3.5 hours. Fucking Christ, Shay. This has been amazing, bro.
It really has. And as I was gonna say, Aaron, like, say something, because I know that you have to go to sleep, and you've been a lot quiet. You've been a lot quieter than you normally would. So I'm saying, like, is it because Shape yelled at us like we were kindergartners? Is that why? Because like he told us.
What did I yell at you guys?
You did yell at us.
When?
They told me,
maybe just then, maybe.
Shape said he was going live, and he posted on his story he was going live. I was like, fuck, Shape's going live? And I seen the cast he had on. I was like, all right, I gotta show up tonight because this.
Yeah, we would have Brittany on tonight, but her Wi-Fi was out, so she couldn't be able to get.
I was like, yeah, this is a party tonight. And I told you, I even canceled on my little brother. I was supposed to pick my little brother up from football practice. I literally texted him. I'm like, hey man, I'm on the stream with the boys tonight. I can't pick you up. I'm having too much fun. So I've enjoyed myself in the fucking shadows tonight. 3.5 hours, brother.
Me too.
Well, before you guys go, let them know where they can find you guys at.
Hey.
Shit, fuck it. Hell Zone, baby. You know where I'm at. Catch me in the Hell Zone, in hell, burning up every day, doing movie reviews, posting your favorite movie scenes in hell. All of you guys have a free invitation to come on the page and do a review anytime you want. Any movie you want to do, come review it. We'll fucking put it on the page. I'm telling you right now. From now on, Aaron, Donnie, Child of Corn, I need one video from each of you guys. Let's just make it happen. Let's just go ahead. I don't care what movie. Just make it happen. I need it. Find me in the Hell Zone. And you guys are also invited to a watch party, free watch parties on behalf of Shape. You can thank Shape on that. So we got to get you guys in one of the watch parties. They're so fucking fun. Other than that, man, I'm your Hellmaster, man. Rocking out with my cock out. Just joking.
Once the camera's off.
Man says, Day, you canceled on me too. What the fuck did I cancel? Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can find me in the Hell Zone anytime. And that's where you find me, man. Rocking out my cock out.
Go ahead, Donnie.
So Instagram at King Donatello. And then my YouTube channel is Donnie Harden Jr. I got a just do guitar covers and stuff like that. That's kind of what it's been more focused on recently. And thanks, Anthony. Just ruined my model. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, those are probably the two places. To holler at me. I mean, it's nice meeting you, Helvington. We talked like a little bit, but this was
we've talked to the DM. I've literally I tell people on this in the
So-
DMs. Do not mind me in my DMs because like I'm more of like a call me kind of guy. Like even Anthony Child of Corn knows me and him send voice clips like every week. So if like you want to
It's all
talk to
about
me,
the voice clips, dude. Yeah.
yeah, send me a voice clip so I can actually talk to you because if I'm texting, I'm terrible at spelling and I've never read messages. Yeah, I'm fucking stuck. And like I say horror journalist, I'm not a horror journalist guy. I don't know how to fucking spell. But Donatello, bro, send me some voice messages, bro. I love music. I love everything wrestling. I love everything rock and roll. I love fucking sports. I love football, basketball. Why do you think me and Child of Corn are fucking best friends? Like, besides this horror shit, there's a lot of other shit that I like.
Hell yeah.
No doubt. Like, have you seen House on Haunted Hill? I've been trying to get Anthony to watch it. He won't watch it.
Child of Corn.
The Vincent Price one?
No, I actually have some time these next 2 days. Original. Yep, you said black and white. If it's on Tubi, I will check it out.
I will say it's up there with 13 Ghosts, if not better, in my opinion.
You're thinking the remake,
good,
probably
really,
not the original.
Another good.
For sure, better than the original. For sure. Now the original is good, but
I put my @ for Instagram right there. I don't really have anything on YouTube. I've thought about maybe doing a few videos. I have no idea on what. I like a shit ton of shit, so it's hard to pick what I want to focus on.
Hellzone, we do everything. You can come do a video.
Hey, when it comes to your channel, YouTube channel, you can do anything you want because it's your channel. You can talk about, it can be universal. You can talk about anything you want. You can talk about Marvel, Star Wars, horror, the chicks out back in the car, whatever you want to talk about.
That's kind of why I just went with my name because
Aaron's first video. Aaron's first video is probably going to be like "fuck WB" or something like that. So
I could definitely go on a WB rant for easily like 20-30 minutes.
I will come on that episode.
Also, shout out to Murchie. He left a LMAO comment.
I was going to say I saw him in here earlier. Yeah.
I feel like
that's true.
That's
yeah. I'm not offended. Like,
go ahead, Mr. Child of Corn. Hey, you know what? You can find Child of Corn in the cornfield chucking some corn.
I mean, it's getting about that time. Like, yeah, I was gonna say about 1 more month. And it's pretty much looking, pretty much spot on. It's drying up pretty quick, but no, Aaron, I was just going to say, though, one WB movie you should watch if you haven't seen it already, Any Given Sunday. Just watch that today. I didn't realize that was a Warner Brothers film.
Okay.
Dude, Any Given Sunday is hands down the best football
Al
film.
Pacino snapping on the sideline.
Speech.
Dude, so, okay.
I've heard the Al Pacino speech. I want to see what that's from.
Okay, I'm going to also tell you guys. Okay, so my bad. You guys can find me. I know May's probably still here, and anybody that watches the playback at Child of the Corn, you can find my Instagram. I think it is just Child of the Corn. Or it might be Child of the Corn 402. I'm not for sure. I know Helvington. I need to get out videos and do some other stuff. I actually made it a work goal to do some more videos and try to enhance my channel a little bit.
Madden's out. I'm waiting on the Madden. Like I'm watching all these Madden streamers on the new Madden. And my man's told me a couple weeks ago, like, bro, the new Madden comes out.
Dude, well, I had to fucking, be with Dace for a couple days because she just left for Sweden like earlier today. So,
I was spamming.
Dude, honestly, I gotta talk to you guys because I apparently must be technologically illiterate, I guess, or because I was trying to do some shit earlier and it didn't work, and I was fucking pissed, and I was like, man, I can't figure this shit out. Anyways. Okay, a couple movies and you guys need to watch. Okay, so speaking of Al Pacino, we watched Any Given Sunday. Also, I know I've brought this one up before. Christopher Nolan, Insomnia with Robin Williams. Yeah, great fucking film. Great film. I can't think of the Karate Kid chick. Damn it, her name was Swank. Huh? Hillary Swank. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Good actress. She's in that. Really good. two other movies. Speaking of Matthew Lillard, Donnie, have you seen The Curve?
What's it
Check
on?
that movie out. Late 90s, I think 1998. It seems very like almost like kind of production value, almost like a B-rated film. It starts out kind of slow, definitely gets way better. It's called The Curve. Dude, I'm telling you, that movie
on
is
Tubi
like hit
or anything?
What's up?
Is it on Tubi or anything?
It is on Tubi. Yes, it actually is. Yeah, my bad. It is.
Yeah. On a website where I get all my free movies.
Yeah, it's called The Curve. You'll get the reference to the title in the film. It's really good, man. I'm telling you, it's like Matthew Lillard at his best, man. Like his performance is really good. Another film though, speaking of what the hell brought that up earlier? Oh, yeah, we were talking about Nightmare 3.
Oh, yeah.
Patricia Arquette, David Arquette's sister, she's in this movie called Night Watch with how do you guys say that guy's name? McGregor?
Ewan
McGregor. Bronson. Is it who plays Thanos? Josh Brolin. Who's the other guy's name? Shit, I can't think of his name. He was in a buddy cop film. I can't think of his name. Really good movie. You guys should watch it. It's called Night Watch. It is, what the fuck did we watch it on? Prime. It was on Prime. Really good stuff. I'm telling you though, like it's like a late 90s also slasher psychological thriller kind of film. Really good shit.
Aaron, what did you say the Al Pacino speech was? You saw it on Instagram or what was it?
So I heard it in like a motivational video.
From any given. Okay, I thought you might have been confusing it with the one from Scent of a Woman where he plays the blind man. You know, because he has one of those speeches at the end of that too.
I've never seen that film.
It's every minute of the game, every hour, every second.
Yep.
1 inch at a time.
And that's true in life.
That is true. Take it too fast, man. Take it slow, man.
But like I said, I try to. I know when the Halloween season comes around, I think I'm gonna obviously try to rank the Halloween franchise and maybe some other franchises and shit. And I don't know, but Madden literally just came out, and I'm trying to figure out how to stream this shit. And so yeah, it's probably gonna take up a lot of my time.
You can stream straight from the Xbox though. Like that's what I'm saying.
No, dude. Okay, so this is what happened. Okay, so I don't think I have good enough Wi-Fi connection because so we Shape, we can do this we can do this after if you want.
Let's wrap it up and then we'll
let's wrap it up and we talk about this after. Just want to say though, May and everybody that was on the stream in the comments tonight in the chat, thank you guys so very much
thank you for sticking with us.
Appreciate you guys.
Rowan, man, all you guys are crazy.
And of course, guys, you can find me over here at the Shape in the Shadows YouTube channel. And of course, again, since Halloween is coming up and a lot of stores will bring out their Halloween stuff out, get looking forward to more Halloween hunts. I know I need to get to Menards, and of course when Walgreens comes, and of course when Spirit opens up too. Keep an eye out for those two. And Mr. Shape did a video a couple days ago where she actually did a Dollar Tree Halloween haul. As you guys see the video there, she actually did it. So she's kind of come back into the YouTube world, so kind of keeping an eye on the lookout for her as doing videos like that. So
that's beautiful, man.
But that's going to be good, everybody. But again, everybody, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And always remember, everybody, the shape is always in the shadows.
There it is.
Thanks for having us, man, for sure.
Peace. Get me the hell out of here. Come on, let's block out.